What up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of the What's Up, Brodey podcast. This episode we had Drew Guikema. Nah, I think it's Guikema. But nonetheless, we had Drew. It was a great conversation. Met Drew doing Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu at John's gym. We've always stayed in touch. Super cool dude. We had a great conversation. I think a lot of good points back and forth. We talk a lot of shit as well. So it was a ton of fun. We had a good time. So I hope y'all enjoy it. Shirts. We have shirts for sale. They're $25. More than happy to ship one out to you. Let me know if you want to grab one of those. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, all the good things, follow the whole 9 yards. Much appreciated. And lastly, Redmond's, whether it's electrolytes, salt, their seasonings, whatever else they have on their website. They got a lot of goodies. Great toothpaste, by the way. You can use code Brodey for 15% off at checkout. So take advantage of that. But nonetheless, hope you enjoy the episode. Thank you.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Woo! Drew!
What's up, Brodey?
What the fuck is up, dude?
Oh, it's a good day for a good day, man.
It is a good day. It's beautiful outside.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Had a good open mat.
Yeah.
Well, relatively.
Yeah, you got a little smashed.
It was relative for sure. Surge fucked me up. And then, I hit a koi bar. That was for a Troy bar. That was fun. Hit my favorite belly down arm bar. That was fun. And then I got fucked up for the rest of the open mat. So that was about all the fun I had. Had one round of fun, and then the rest of the open mat was me just getting smashed by killers.
Yeah. Your gym has a high amount of guys that can smash. I will say, just with their body weight.
They're very good.
Very big guys.
They're fucking good.
Yeah, they're talented too.
There's nothing but pros or people who have been training for a very long time.
Yeah. My match was mid. I trained with a lot of white belts that about the same skill level, maybe a little under than me. I got a few one-ups on them, as I should, kind of a thing, and then I rolled with Miles and he kicked my ass. It was a good time, you know?
I miss rolling with Miles, dude.
Miles is good. He's kind of underrated.
He's a good armbar.
Yeah. He's getting sneaky too. Like, I guess he started babying me less now that I've actually been training for a few months consistently, and it's not like I'm just floundering or panicking on the mats anymore. I kind of know what I'm doing. And now he told me he has to try harder, which is a really high compliment. I'm not getting anything on him, but he does have to try harder. So
get him to move.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing, dude. It's progressions. It's small steps. It's like leveling up in anime, right? It's like oh, I'm level 2 today.
Yeah.
And then, a couple months go by and you're like, oh, I'm level 3 now.
Yeah.
And so it's fun. That's the fucking never ending path. It doesn't ever end.
Yeah.
You don't ever get to the point where, I mean, really, you almost never get to the point where you're good. Especially if you train with the right people, or if you hold yourself to the right standard. Like, it should never end. I train with some of the best guys in the world where they're still constantly getting better. And that's the crazy thing to see. It's like the difference between some gyms and other gyms is that there are still people, like even at the highest level in the gym, who are still constantly getting better. And so it's always a constant evolution. They're still really dedicated to the craft and still learning and still studying and still keeping up. And it's makes it for a fucking good challenge because everyone is getting good at the same rate. And so it's just constant wars.
Deep water on all sides, man.
It's been awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Plus, everybody that comes to the gym usually is already a blue belt or higher. There's some, we do have white belts, but most of the people have transferred from other gyms to come train. And so they're either blue or purple. We even got some brown belts that have come in. We had a black belt that's been training with us, 2 black belts actually that's been training with us. But they all come to learn, from Big Dan and from the Danaher crew. And so,
yeah. Danaher crew is infamous. I was telling my friend that was thinking about training, and I was talking to them on the phone, catching up with them, saying this has been pretty central part of my life for the past several years, especially lately with jiu-jitsu. And I was telling him, basically, Austin has become the mecca of jiu-jitsu. Come out here and train with us, you know? Like, if you ever want to take it seriously, this is a great place to be doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody good came here, is what it seems like.
There's a lot of really good people. I mean, there's still a lot of other good places, right? Like San Diego, Southside LA. Like, there's still a lot of really good, I don't even know if it's Southside LA, but just LA. There's still a lot of really, really good jiu-jitsu places, but I mean, we have a collective of very good people.
Yeah.
Like some of the, I mean, there's just too many to name. Like, there's just so many people in here between Kingsway and B Team alone. Just those two schools alone, there are so many of the top flight guys.
Yeah.
Trials winners, ADCC winners. And then, I mean, dude, there's just so many people. There's so many schools opening. Like, Jan Carlos School's been open now for a couple of months. Nicholas Marigali just announced that he's opening up a gi school. There's two brothers who just announced that they're opening up a school on Thursday Night Jiu-Jitsu, who I've never rolled with, but I've seen them a few times. They just announced that they're opening up a school, so there's just so many places to train. So if you're in Austin and you want to train, or if you're anywhere near, like you have no excuse. There's so many good schools on every corner from the north as you can go in Georgetown, all the way as south as you can go. There are schools all throughout.
Yeah.
There's so many places to train.
Gyms per capita is kind of insane out here.
It is getting crazy.
I wonder what that says about, like, the people here, like discipline per capita kind of a thing. Like,
well, I mean, definitely your odds of running into somebody who trains is probably higher here than others. But then I watch these Sixth Street videos and people fighting, and then I remember that normal people just can't fight. I mean, they just
training at all still puts you above 95% of the population.
Yeah, they're just like, but your odds of running into someone who trains here is much, much higher.
It's true.
And so it's just never a smart idea. It's never a good idea.
No, I mean, that's half the talent. That's half of the mental thing that we learn is, like, what de-escalation looks like, just how bad you can get fucked up if you're rolling with somebody that much better than you.
Or even just as good. That's the biggest misconception. That's the biggest misconception with martial arts. Like, people are like, oh, you know, you're teaching people how to hurt people, or whatever, like the critics say or people say. But in reality, dude, you're teaching people to not fight.
Yeah.
Because you just learn the repercussions suck. Yeah. Getting your ass whooped sucks. Dude.
You know how many ribs I've broken? Do you know how many?
It's just not good.
How many black eyes I've carried just from training with people that are going, you know, reasonably light with me, right? And I don't know, hypothetically skill matched, being careful, the whole 9 yards, and I've still walked away fucked up. I would never, ever, ever pick a fight with somebody, period.
I have no desire.
But second of all, on a concrete slab, hell no. After drinking, hell no.
That'd be
you know,
awful.
Like, what if my equilibrium's fucked? You know, and I don't realize
after drinking, I probably would. But dude, rolling on mushrooms, is the best.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've never done that.
You have to. I would do a gram. And I'd go to Friday Open Mat. And
I don't think I've touched anybody other than my hang on. I was about to say, I don't think on mushrooms I have really had much physical contact with others.
There we go.
Kind of a thing. That's what I really mean to say.
There it is.
That's what I really mean to say.
No, I've had a good amount of physical contact because I've done this multiple times now. Where take about half a gram to a gram and go to Open Mat.
Yeah.
And roll, do 15, 20 rounds, and you feel like you can see the future.
That's a trip.
You're like,
holy shit.
You're like, oh, I know exactly what you're about to do.
Like third person perspective on position kind of a thing. Like you understand the alignment of their body with yours kind of a thing.
You're definitely, I mean, you are so much more locked in. You can lay more traps. You can be like, haha, I wasn't going there, but you thought I was. It's it is a surreal experience, but you just get into an insane flow state.
You heard it here first, folks. You know, like,
dude, you go to
Brodey recommends
you go
a gram or two
yeah.
and the mats.
Not a gram or two. A half a gram to a gram. A gram might be pushing it, but honestly, I just get zoned out. I just people think I do it to be disrespectful, but I just sing throughout the entire round. And
that does feel disrespectful.
It does feel, I know.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. When you are straight goofing and I'm fighting for my life, I'm not feeling good about it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. But to be fair, though, even in the reverse, like when I am getting fucked up, I'm still goofing. Like I was rolling with Abraham La Montoya yesterday on Friday because he was teaching and we were odd man out. And Abe was like, I got you, Jordan. And I was like, fuck. All right. And even then, dude, even when he's like fucking me up and he's smashing me, and I'm just like, Abe, you feel so much heavier in drills. Abe, you forget jiu-jitsu? You just don't know how to do this no more?
Yeah, you're talking
I'm talking shit the whole time. Yeah. Like I'm always goofing. Like I'm way too comfortable. It gets me in trouble. Like I let people get a little too far in a position where I'm like, fuck, I fucked up. Because I will be slightly too calm. But I would rather be slightly too calm than the people who panic. Once you panic, you're going to exhaust yourself. A, you're going to exhaust yourself. And most likely, you're not going to make the best decision. And B, if you're in a submission that's tight, but it's not quite either breaking pressure or actually going to put you to sleep. It's just a pain threshold. If you panic, you might just tap and then realize, I could have definitely have gotten out of that. Or it's when people start to tap to pressure or people start to tap to uncomfortable positions, but it's mostly because they're panicking. And so I'm very calm always, like even when I'm in a really shitty spot. I mean, head and arms are kind of the exception where they start to get really, really tight and you have to kind of like fucking just freak out and like try to shimmy your elbow back in.
Yeah.
But essentially though, it's like staying calm is very important. It's the same thing in striking. Like when people start to just like cover up like this and they're not paying attention no more, all you're doing is just giving that person much more time, easier target. This is the same thing in jiu-jitsu. If you're flipping out and like flopping around like a fish, if that person is they can just ride you out. If they know what they're doing, they're just going to ride you out, transfer from position to position because you're not really doing anything productive. You're just flopping around and panicking, and then now you're exhausted. And the second you stop panicking, it's just going to get so much worse. Yeah. And so I sing, or I will sing whatever music is playing on the on the speaker, just because
badly at that.
Yeah, definitely badly. I can't sing for shit, but it just helps me keeps me locked into jiu-jitsu, and it just keeps me very calm.
The calm thing, that is probably the thing I've been focused the most on for the past several months of like realizing just how deeply white belt my mentality has been about this sport and like trying to get past it. I think the biggest thing is, could you, you know how you can kind of fog up your eyes if you like unfocus them? Mm-hmm. Can you roll with your eyes unfocused? Kind of a thing. Like, do you really understand relative position of where the other person is to you? And like, can you do it without attaching yourself to like that sense of danger you feel when somebody's about to get you, right? And I can't say I'm good at it, but the better I get at it, the more I notice that like the higher belts, the blue belts, the purple belts, whatever, they'll actually put some work back on me, you know, like the calmer I seem, the less of the stereotypical spazzy white belt. That is the cure. It's literally just like, can you check out while you do it? And for me, it's unfocusing my eyes, thinking about like a 3D picture of the position we're in rather than thinking about my perspective. For you, it's just singing. You're just singing a song while you're rolling, man.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's fun. Yeah, people get upset, but
well, that's flow state. I mean, it's kind of integral to everything that you want to be good at. You want to be at the point of any kind of mastery at is like is no mind Japanese idea, right? Where you like, I guess, separate your perception from the rattle of your thoughts going off in your head, right? It's disassociative, but it works kind of a thing.
And that's what the mushrooms do when you're rolling.
Yeah, that's
like that lag, that slight like, oh, what if I do, or I'm going to do this, what if he does this? That goes away. And it's just like, all right, I'm just going to do this. And then if he responds, okay, then I'm just going to respond to his response. Or he's going to respond the way that I wanted him to respond, and because I really wanted this the whole time. And so the mushrooms just help cut that lag time out, or that extra thought. Because in jiu-jitsu, it really is like the quicker you can flow to something, the better you can flow from A to B to C, back to B. Okay, now we're going back to C.
Yeah.
And the more you can just flow through these points, the better you're going to do in the roll. And so weed does the same thing, where it just kind of just cuts that off.
It's meditation.
Yeah, sometimes with the weed though, I get too silly, and then I just like, I remember, dude, I fucked up before a tournament, and it was a Naga at blue belt. I won gi, but I lost no gi, or I got third no gi, and it was no gi was first, and I had just drank a like edible drink, like the THC drinks. And it was only 5 milligrams. I thought I would be fine. I was like, dude, this is just enough just to take the edge off. This will help with that cutting off that like overthinking, and just let me get into this flow state in the tournament. I was like, all right, I can do this. Boy, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I just didn't eat enough. I don't know if I ate something that the weed stuck to or what, but I was high. And I was like, holy shit. I was really high, dude. I had Taylor slap me before I got on the mat. I was so high. And like, I was so giggly and just so unserious.
Yeah.
Not locked in at all. And the first guy I go against, it was a Six Blades guy. Real, like, just real aggressive, pretty good at jiu-jitsu, but very aggressive. And right when we slap bump, the first thing he does is hits me with this hard ass collar tie, dude, and I giggle. I was way too high, bro.
That's sus.
I was way too high, man. Bro.
It's like when they say don't make eye contact in jiu-jitsu, maybe don't giggle either.
Well, it comes back to like being too calm. It comes back from being too calm, because like if you want to throw hands, we can throw hands. That's fine. Yeah. So it doesn't like I always perceive the collar tie as a threat. I more so perceive it like, ooh, you want to have some real fun?
Yeah.
We can have some real fun, right? And so
stay squared up while we do this.
So he hits me with this fucking collar tie, dude, and I kind of chuckle. And I'm like, fuck, I'm way too high for this match. He's way too aggressive. He is trying to kill me. And so I just remember just being so unserious. And then he just hits me with a fucking blast double from hell. I mean, he just puts his forehead right into my sternum.
Yeah.
And just sends me across the mat. And we land, and I'm like, whew.
Maybe not giggling anymore.
I'm back. I'm back now. I was like, all right. Learned two things here. A, no weed before the tournament.
Yeah, man.
B, just no weed before the tournament.
Yeah.
It was not good. And so,
substances are just kind of shortcuts to a thing that you can do without the substances.
It's true.
And like you can go into altered states through breath work in a pretty straightforward linear way, right? It's not my favorite thing to do because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of concentration. But a lot of times that thing that I'm chasing when I would like smoke weed, go to the gym, train, whatever. And this is over a year ago now, so my experience of it is a little removed. I stopped smoking weed last year, stopped using nicotine this year. Like I'm trying to cut down on everything except drinking, like we talked about, because you got to have one vice. But
that's fair.
What I've learned as I've like taken these things out of my life is the thing that I was benefiting from, the kind of reason I was rationalizing using it, is also accessible outside of that.
Yeah.
They say that like real meditation doesn't happen with your eyes closed. It happens with your eyes open. Like that is the most advanced stage of like clearing your mind is can you walk around that way? And that's kind of what weed is a shortcut to is like it's either a pit of hell of you sinking into your anxiety and letting that like ego, that inner voice run rampant and take up way too much bandwidth, or it's no inner voice and just moving through life without the inner voice, without the labels, without anything like that.
Yeah, I don't get that effect.
Really?
No, it's definitely the inner voice.
Okay.
Just fucking on just 1,000, bro. And I'm like, dude, chill.
And that takes a discipline on its own, is like have it being turned up and then having to regulate it.
Yeah, it's like mental sparring.
It is. It's sparring with yourself, right? And that's the fun thing about, I think, weed in general is that it's a mirror. And it kind of like, if you're not cool with yourself, you're not going to have a good time on weed. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it is a mental sparring, and I'll use it for that. Just kind of go back and forth. And then you like ponder ideas or like bounce, you can almost like bounce both sides in your head and rebuttal things and go back and forth. And you're like, no, I really do feel that way. And then you'd be like, but what about this? That? Nah, I really do feel that way.
Yeah.
And it is interesting for that regard. But that's my experience usually. It's just like turned up to 1,000.
I guess I had different experiences with sativas and indicas kind of a thing as well. Sativas would tend to send me spiraling and indicas would tend to send me into Zen. And what I've been working on since not smoking for the past year is, can I do walking meditation? Can I live my life in flow state? Can I remove my sense of reactivity as much as possible from everything in my life? Can I start to see myself starting to react to something and stop it in its tracks? Can I be in the middle of an argument and pull back on all that reactivity? I don't know, man. I guess if I can get to there, which is what I'm trying to imitate, I guess, when I'm like literally blurring my vision while I'm rolling, like I'm trying to like biohack my brain to go back into this flow state, is can you just see possibilities instead of feeling ever like you've been like pigeonholed into a reaction, right? And that's, from what I understand, what good jujitsu looks like is flexibility, right? And seeing multiple paths forward, multiple paths out of where you're at. And if I can do that in life, if I can do that in jits, if I can do that in relationships, all of the above in parenting, right? I think I am better serving everybody around me and also better serving myself and more, I guess, intellectually consistent, emotionally consistent, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. What have you been doing to try to get you back or like stay in that flow state or get to that flow state? There's
a lot of like, I guess, mental hacks that I tend to do. So basically, have you ever, this is, like I said, substances can be a shortcut. When you're on shrooms or weed or anything like that, have you ever felt that kind of like endorphin flush from the back of your base of your skull down your spine, and it kind of spreads out throughout your body? It's like you feel like you're in alignment with the universe for a second, and it gives you a big dopamine rush. I have been working on, can you put yourself in the mental space that gives you that flush without doing anything? Can you feel like you're perfectly in alignment with the universe just for enjoying it? Just for, in that moment, remembering that, I'm just a cog in a machine. I just think I'm Drew. I'm not actually that. I'm observing Drew have a conscious experience like that. I get very heady and I guess disassociative with spiritual practice, but bringing it back to sort of rhythmic associations with physical stimulus. One of them is that flush of endorphins, whatever you want to call it. Another one is I count when I find myself overthinking. Like I try to override my inner monologue voice with just 1, 2, 3, or go backwards kind of a thing from 10. And then what's another one I do? Oh, I put a tattoo on my ankle that helps me. Like I love using tattoos as reminders for myself too. And I put them all over my knuckles for that reason and whatever. But the one on my ankle says, I am loving awareness. And if I can, like even right now, if I can just put myself back in that space where I'm remembering that I'm enjoying it, like first of all, there's two ways to say it. I am loving awareness, like I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time being aware. And then there's like an identity statement of I am loving awareness. And this is one of like dozens of spiritual mental practices you can do to kind of recenter yourself on flow state. But if I remember that I am just a conscious thing, and at the core of that thing, I'm enjoying it, I am embodying love for others and for myself and for the experience itself. I don't know, man. I think personally, the things I'm learning in jiu-jitsu are exact parallels to what I'm learning as a spiritual entity having a physical experience rather than a physical entity having a spiritual experience. Like it's always a mirror. It's always a parallel, for me at least.
And where are you learning this from? Or like, what are you basing this off of?
Well, I've kind of consolidated a lot of multi-religious perspectives. So like I pulled a lot from Buddhism, which you hear a lot of that in like the disassociative kind of stuff. I've pulled a lot from Hinduism because personally I've had experiences of higher power. I don't think that means anything for anybody else. I think it means what it means for me. And Hinduism is a lot of the same Eastern traditions, but with a theistic, higher power leaning curve. So there's that. And also I've just been kind of fixated with religious studies my whole life. I was raised super, super conservative Christian, like culty preppers for doomsday kind of Christian.
It's pretty useful now.
It is. Like my prepper background has never been more appropriate than these days with World War III impending. All right. Like, but that all said, I went to college and got a biblical studies certification. Then after that, I started deconstructing it, started looking at Eastern philosophy, looking at what do people say magic is? What are miracles? What is this thing where if you believe something enough, weird shit happens in this matrix, in this simulation, whatever, you know? And that happens across cultures. If you believe enough, if you have enough faith seems to be like a determining factor on how we can shape reality. And I've just been diving into like experimental faith. What if I choose to believe something as if it's real? Does it change my life? Does it have third party effects? Does it, does weird stuff happen? And I've found that, yeah, it does.
I think it does. This has been something that I've been diving more into probably the last 6 weeks since the Epstein files come out.
Yeah.
So really, really, really weird pull to not necessarily religion, but just Jesus and Christianity or the what it's supposed to be, right? Because dude, there's only two outcomes right now. Mm-hmm. Either A, it is 100% true, no ifs, ands, and buts. It is because what is written down is starting to come true, and you're watching it play out, and you're like, this is a mind fuck. This is super trippy. Mm-hmm. Thought these were largely stories to kind of base your life on, not necessarily a glimpse into the future, essentially. Yeah. And you're like, ooh, okay, this is really weird. Mm-hmm. And then, and then on the opposite side of it, or excuse me, so the first one is it's either 100% real, or the second part is it's completely fake, and we have these lunatics running the world thinking it's real, which just seems way less likely. It seems way more likely that these folks are tapped into this evil power. In the scripture, it says that the devil runs this world. It very much seems that way, especially now, seeing everything. I've never seen the world so clearly in my life. I've always known, I've always been cognizant of it. I've always lived my life very opposite of a lot of people, or very opposite of what we've been told. I've always kind of gone against the grain. I've always ate a shit ton of red meat, all these little things, right?
Yeah.
Always just kind of stayed away from sugar, just things that they always just seemed very intuitive to me, but I didn't really realize why I was so against those things. Or movements, dude, BLM, or whether it's fucking the feminist movement or LGBT, the pride, like all these movements, not necessarily the people, but the movements.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do I feel so strongly against these organizations? Like, why does it feel so grimy? Like they're supposed to be doing these good things, right?
Because you're loving the people, but you're hating the agenda. You're wondering what's the power
always
grab
agenda
behind
there's
this.
always an agenda. You see BLM, you see those folks fucking stole all the money and then bought all the mansions. Like you read in the Epstein files where they talk very openly about the transgender agenda to then just continue to groom children, and you're like, yeah, dude, this is all a fucking game.
Yeah.
And then you learn about who started the feminist movement and like what the goal actually was. It was to get more women to go into universities because they're easier to indoctrinate. And then you start to see that now with the particular people who are the ones that do a lot of protesting and a lot of shit that seems like they think that nothing can then happen. And then you get this Renee Good situation where it's a culmination of two very dumb decisions. And I believe one of them both of them felt the same way, that there's going to be no accountability for their actions.
Yeah. And it's tragic, like what happened either way,
It is, but it's also just where we're at. Like people think that there is no repercussions. Like you heard her wife on camera go, "Why did y'all have real bullets?" Okay,
sign of the times, man.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, you guys don't understand that we're not playing a game here.
Federal agents, y'all are in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You drove here for this, and then now you're surprised by the fact that they had real bullets. So the whole thing is just so bizarre. It's like, how do you get to this point? How do you get to the point where you're like, I'm invincible. None of this is real.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where we're at right now, where life is just not real. Yeah. None of this matters. We're literally living in a time where a satanic cult openly, let's just take for a second the confirmed parts. Sex trafficking children, raping children on video, openly, and this is who we're paying our taxes to. We're fighting a war for an entirely different
You're
country.
paying your taxes.
Well, we won't talk about all that. And so
some people are paying their taxes too.
Someone is.
Yeah, someone for sure. But yeah,
valid. But so it's like we've now crossed this line where it's like there are two types of people right now. There are people who do not want to accept that their reality is a lie.
Yeah.
And then we have the people who have accepted it and they're sitting here like,
when are we going to organize?
What are we like?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Are we ready to fight yet?
Yeah, because this is over my threshold for sure. And you and I have been like sending each other memes about that for months now, right? Of like, hey, we're going to do something, right? We're all like literally, we are all gun owners for this reason, right? Is government overreach, tyrannical government lack of ethics, right? And they're all tied in to the Epstein thing, either by protecting it or by fucking participating. Yeah, man.
And it goes back so far, dude.
Yeah. But how are we not like, and here's the thing is like, it's so easy to say, how are we not doing something? And you and me to go like, I'm ready when you are, brother.
But it makes sense. But it makes sense how we're not doing anything.
We're all looking at each other saying, I'm ready when you are.
Well,
I guess
yes,
all of us that are men about it and are like pissed or pissed enough, I guess, to be there.
Correct.
But the thing is, to organize is to unify an ideology of what we're going to replace it with. And that's, I think, where we have a problem is we do not have a clear idea of what this looks like post.
See, I agree with what I agree that could be a reason, or that is a reason, but I disagree that is what should keep us, right? And you were guilty of this when I sent you over the protest and you said, oh, this is a Christian thing. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to be fighting in a revolution where you agree with everyone around you? We're going to need the blue head communists as well. Like, they have to be there too.
Well, and that protest you sent me, I thought they were saying...
Hold on.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And so, like, it is ridiculous of any of us and all of us to expect that we're going to fight this thing with people that we agree 100% with.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who believe in socialism to the end and to the end all be all that are going to be that have to be a part of this. And then afterwards, we have to then go back to what it's supposed to be,
which is debate.
Yes. Have conversations, vote on things genuinely, get these foreign entities out of the fucking way, stop voting for the people. Like, dude, the whole, like, oh my God, dude, everyone posting their goddamn sticker. Yeah. I fucking hate it. You literally just voted for another AIPAC, dude. Just go home. Don't waste your time. Yeah. You are showing exactly why we can't fix it, because you're not going to vote your way out of this. It's not going to happen. 98%, 2024, 98% of the primary candidates that won were all backed by AIPAC. 98% of them, both sides. It doesn't matter. There is no voting your way out of it. We are occupied.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Totally agree. And I think I've been called an isolationist before for my very libertarian and isolationist views on this. Like, but we should not be involved in anything but trade with these guys. Like, the guys behind AIPAC, I'll put it that way, right, do not have our best interest in heart.
No.
They do not have...
It's very apparent.
It's a literal foreign lobby that doesn't have to register as one. And, like, if our entire government is bought out by this same system that also has ties to, like, I mean, it's very, very clear that Epstein had ties to Mossad. I'm not saying he was a Mossad agent.
He was a Mossad agent. We can say it. I'm saying it.
If he was a Mossad agent...
I'm saying it.
Have you seen the pictures of
which one?
Of Epstein alive.
Like now? You talking about the Florida guy?
I don't know if he was a Florida guy.
There's a guy in Florida that he made a video saying he got mistaken for Epstein. And so he was driving down the street in the convertible. And
I've seen a guy with a white beard in Israel in Tel Aviv.
Oh yeah, I've seen these videos. I've seen these
escorted
photos.
by armed security.
Yeah, I've seen these photos. I don't think he's dead. I don't know if he's alive. I haven't went that far. I think I'll put it this way. I'm way more confident that Netanyahu is dead than I am that Epstein is alive.
Okay. I think if Epstein was a Mossad agent, why would Mossad let a foreign government put him to death? I mean, why wouldn't they fake his death with a body that does not have the appropriate matching tattoos?
Well, they did say that there is a theory that they did swap the bodies.
Yeah. And that's my thing, is that if he was Mossad, he wouldn't be dead. He'd be extracted.
Well, I mean, everybody gets caught. Netanyahu potentially knows this.
Yep.
Eventually you get caught.
I don't know if he knows anything right now. I think he might be dead.
Dude, if they post another AI video, I'm gonna it is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And then they just canceled the meeting in Turkey.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he can show up.
I think they also are very good at body doubles, but it takes time to get a convincing body double in place.
How much have you dove into the Joe Biden?
That's what made me think of it. Is like, I think he became
fucking
unable to hold a conversation.
Imagine, bro. They said he died in the files. Allegedly, it says that he died in 2019.
You think he's dead? I thought he wasn't able to hold a conversation. I thought his mentality was degrading so much that they body doubled.
There is something in the files. I don't know if it was a real file or there was a lot of things going around, but allegedly there was something in the files that he had died in 2019 and it was a guy in a mask the entire time. Which, let's take how crazy that sounds out of the picture for a second, right?
Sure.
And let's just think.
Your disbelief.
Let's just think about his 4 years of presidence.
Okay.
Presidency, right?
Auto signing everything.
Yeah,
yes,
where he clearly didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean,
he represented George
possible.
Soros so well for those 4 years, bro.
Oh, bro.
And if we believe in the Soros agenda,
Opening the borders, letting everybody over. You know, it really makes sense. And it goes back to what we were talking about where, you know, there's people who believe that the Jews started Islam.
Yeah.
And when you think about it from that situation, and then you go back to what George Soros and all of them, these globalists, what they want to achieve and how they flood these countries with, you know, people from the third world in which we've bombed and fucked up and we've pissed them off. And so then they're rightfully pissed off. And then they're going over and flooding these Western countries and they're not assimilating. And then people start to hate them. And then
because I believe in immigration. I think that immigration has turned into a really, really, really twisted thing.
Absolutely. It's an agenda.
Yeah. It's
same thing.
It's once again, I love the people. I hate the movement.
It's the same thing, dude. It's like, it is.
What up, y'all? I know, interrupting the conversation again. I apologize. Not really, though, because I want to talk to you about a great product. Redmond's toothpaste. I know this is kind of silly, recommending a toothpaste. But, dude, it has completely changed the way my mouth feels. It is a fantastic toothpaste. It's way better than any other toothpaste I've used, and that's just the truth. So you can get yours now as a What's Up Brodey listener. You can get 15% off with code Brodey, or you can follow my bio in my Instagram to check out, and that'll also get you 15% off. Now back to the conversation.
Very clearly on purpose. The UK is torched. If an Arab...
is it 12,000 people have been arrested for Facebook posts, or is it 1,200?
It was like 12,000.
It's 12,000, yeah.
But that's not even the craziest thing anymore. That's like old news at this point. The newer one that happened like 2 or 3 months ago, where the UAE stopped funding any of their citizens who's going to university in the UK
because they think they're going to get radicalized.
Yeah, bro.
And like they're saying that there's like a marked difference between Islamic folks and Islamist. That's the new term differential, right? And Islamist is hypothetically this like radicalized far
I think it was tied to the Islamic Brotherhood, if I'm not mistaken. So the
and
UK
they make up a
government,
huge percentage in the UK.
The UK government refuses to call them a terrorist organization. And so the UAE was like, well, none of y'all can go over there and pay for college on your own self, but the government, we will not be funding you no more. And the fact that is not talked about way more is bananas. An Arab Muslim country is telling you that this Western country over here
is where the terrorist cell is, and you can't go over there.
Like fucking
a Muslim-run country is saying, "Don't go talk to those Muslims." Like
it's insane.
It's
insane, bro. It's insane.
Well, and that's like, I think that's also like a pretty fundamental thing happening in America, where we got Christian nationalism happening, right? And you were saying you're feeling drawn to the gospel. And I don't know if you know this, but I go to a church in this area that is, it's Jesus focused, but it's interfaith. So we talk about Buddhism, we talk about all the things, right? And I think when we see Christian nationalists, the idea that like we should be starting World War III because it'll bring back Jesus.
Or bring back the Antichrist.
Or and then it'll identify the Antichrist for us, and it'll be the beginning of the end times. All this stuff that is literally psychotic. That's I think religious psychosis. If you're encouraging war for your book's prophecy about the end times, that like frankly, Revelations could have been written on acid, man. Like it's insane. It's visions of 7-headed dragons wearing 10 crowns and I don't know, all kinds of crazy stuff. But this far-right Christian side that is rising to power and trying to claim power by virtue of them being Christian, right? We should have certain laws in this country in place because they're Christian. That is an exact same allegory to the problem we're seeing in the Islamic community in the UK and in the Islamic Brotherhood, right? It's that these fundamentalist, extremist, far most conservative format of their scriptural reading think that they have the, I guess, moral high ground simply because they are adhering the most closely to the book. And I don't know, man. I really do think that the Bible is intended to be humans trying their best to categorically describe experiences with higher power, right? Like we have this vision of God, right? John the Baptist sees this vision of the end times, right? And he does his best to write it down. I think Paul ran into Jesus for a very short amount of time, but he wrote most of the doctrine that Christians, subscribe to in the New Testament. He was doing his best to write letters to early churches, write letters to early Christians, and like address certain things doctrinally from his perspective as a Jewish Pharisee that met Christ and had his life changed. I think that there's nothing wrong with having a Muslim faith tradition, as long as you are not also believing that you have a right to kill infidels. I think that there's nothing wrong with having a Christian faith tradition if you also are not saying that I have a right to, pray on the street corner like Jesus condemned. Like the literal thing, Jesus was revolutionizing the Jewish faith, and we're turning it into this legalistic, structured thing that everybody must subscribe to because it's empirically the right thing. And I think Christians in this country are missing the revolutionary aspect of Jesus's life and mission as he lived it.
How so?
Because when people say Jesus was flipping tables, because he wasn't tolerating sin in the temple, right? He was also flipping tables because the Pharisees were sanctioning it, like the religious structure in place, the religious authority.
He was upset about usury.
Yes. And yeah, that too, honestly.
That's what he was flipping tables about.
We could talk about interest and cultural perspectives on interest as well. He was
literally hanging out with murderers,
certain
thieves.
Cultures that are exempt from interest, it seems, while the rest of us are not. There must be some kind of term for the rest of us. But
Goyim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hinting at it. But if we're saying goy on this podcast, it's the goy.
My goyim.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying for weeks now. My goyim, what's up?
Yes. And that's us, man. We're not exempt from usury, right? No. And like Jesus was saying, you have this system centered around sacrifice, blood sacrifice, centered around appealing to the religious authority. Maybe your relationship with God is personal. Maybe you have direct access, right? Maybe God is inside you as the Holy Spirit. And like his message was turning Judaism on its head. And then we've taken his message and I think turned it into the new, for lack of a better term, Judaism. Like we turned it into the new legalistic.
Maybe. I don't know if I see it like that completely. At least not the Christians that I hang out with primarily. I think the people you're talking about are also people who would probably identify as like a Christian Zionist, which is an oxymoron.
Yes.
And I think, yes, those people.
Christian nationalists, Christian Zionists.
Yes. Those are your.
That's the category I condemn.
Yeah, right, those are the dual citizens.
Yes. Those United States of Israel kind of.
Those, I believe, those are the folks talking about the third temple and bringing back the Messiah, who in reality is the Antichrist, not Jesus.
Yeah. And it's psychotic. It's actual psychosis.
But that is what's happening.
Yes.
It is what's happening. And it is what we are living in, which is very crazy. And there's not enough people that want to realize what is happening right now.
Yeah.
Because there is so much going on. And it's bonkers, dude. Yeah. They really there's a lot of talk about that mosque in Jerusalem. That's a fucking word, bro. Getting blown up.
Yeah.
And using that to rebuild the third temple.
Yeah.
Right. And Pete Hegseth has been on camera talking about this.
Pete Hegseth has religious psychosis.
You have IDF agents wearing the patches. You have it's there. It's there.
But that's the very thing we condemn in Islamic regimes. Like, that's the very problem we have with Iran, is that their religious motivation has become conflated with their political motivation.
Well, but okay. So let's take a step back real quick, though. How did this happen? Well, it happened because the 13 families infiltrated the different religions, and they have lied, and they have played the role of these religions, but they're not a part of that religion.
I mean, they make their own antagonists. They fund their own antagonists. Shout out Hamas and Netanyahu. They create their own opposition.
Yeah.
So that in the end, there's just less people we disagree with.
So here we are.
Yeah.
It is possible that these Jewish folks, and I don't even know if they're Jewish. I think they're Canaanites. Canaanites is a good word. These fake Jewish folks, whatever the word is, potentially created Islam for that reason.
Are you talking about like the European Jewish community that
is now running
Israel. Put into diaspora and then brought back, kind of a thing?
Now running Israel, yeah.
And like Netanyahu changed his name because it sounded too Polish or whatever it was.
Yeah, because he's like from Poland or like northern Ukraine or some shit.
Yeah.
And they won't do any DNA testing, and all high-level Israeli government folks are all Eastern European.
I'm just really firmly of the opinion that we are either condemning religiously motivated politics, like all politics should be secular. If you believe in pro-life, right, you should be able to defend that from a logical standpoint, not just because you believe God said it's wrong, right?
Sure.
If you don't think, and I think this is a whack take, for instance, like I think pro-life, pro-choice, a valid debate to have. We are divided enough as a population on that topic to where we should continue to debate it, probably make it single issue voting per state kind of a thing. But like if you believe that the legal definition of marriage should be only restricted to men and women, that I don't know, man. And you say that the reason is because my religion says so. And I say, but here's the thing is you can't change the fact that you have gay neighbors. You can't, you can't change the actual demographic of the people in the place you live. And there's so much benefit legally within our government structure to marriage that to rob them of that when they're never going to be under this umbrella, it doesn't really make sense. Like there's not really a logical argument against same-sex marriage.
There's not. And I agree. And again, I think this goes back to those 13 families infiltrating, because I think what this has done is it has pushed people away and it has created a godless society. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing the repercussions of a godless society. Mm-hmm. People, and I think that worked because now there is no greater accountability. So there is no accountability here on life, here on earth. And then also now, if you don't believe in anything else, there's no accountability at all. And you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can have 13 abortions and it doesn't matter. You can do anything you want. And there is no repercussions.
And there was a point where it was one nation under God, as in not just saying that we're a religiously affiliated nation. It's saying there's nothing under God. There's nothing over God.
Yeah, that is a God. It is a God-fearing society. Mm-hmm. And people can be upset about it or whatever, but you cannot deny the fact that the country was found on Christian values, the true Christian values. And I think, again, what you were talking about was on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't think that those are the actual... I think what people get upset with is that they become slippery slopes, and then they became things that were then used to promote alternative behaviors that have a long-term repercussion on society and the individual, but they're not thought of that way because they've become popularized. For instance, like gay marriage, that should happen, but then that also led us to this craziness that we're in, where pronouns and fucking people dressing up as women and then going into women's bathrooms and jerking off in the stalls. Like it was a slope that then led us here. It's not that slope.
That's fair.
It's
that's
not that
the movement, not the people.
Correct.
Right.
And it's not that slope wasn't incorrect.
Yeah.
But it has then now given the people of power this ability to continue to manipulate your mind and then start to allow these things slowly.
Yeah.
And all of it, no matter no, all of it, right? OnlyFans, pornography, all of it is just a way of making people more and more godless.
So I've got two pushbacks on that. Okay. So first, and I'm going to say both so that I don't forget. The first one I want to talk about is founded on Christian principles. Okay. And the second one is the trans agenda. So first pushback, founded on Christian principles. A lot of the founding fathers were what we would call today deists.
They're also Freemasons.
And Freemasons practice occult to a large degree. Occultism, and believe in essentially alchemy, right? And I'm not even saying any of that stuff's not true. As a matter of fact, the Bible says it is real, and don't mess with it, is what the Bible says. But there's a multi-religious background, even back to the founding fathers. I mean, America is a place where you have the right to be Christian, not a place that is Christian. And I think when we have had a Christian majority, certain aspects of the Christian ethic are integrated into our culture. That I give you. But I don't necessarily think we were founded as a Christian nation, and I will always push back on
that, though.
I guess I
didn't say that.
I'm saying that
Just the values of Christianity.
the values of Christianity, I'll take that.
At its root, what it's supposed to be.
Anybody that says, though, that we were founded as a Christian nation is always going to get pushback from me, because it was always intended to be multi-religious.
Sure. It's not that you can't come over here and practice whatever religion you like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, when we say Western values, there's a reason why.
It's Christian values to a large degree.
There's a reason why largely Islamic culture doesn't always assimilate.
Yeah.
Or it requires some assimilation to come over here. There has to be some acceptance of there's certain things that we don't do.
Yep.
We don't fuck kids.
Yeah. Dude.
Right?
The amount of stories I've heard from veterans from Afghanistan about that kind of stuff is insane.
Yes, it's very normal. It's a part of the culture. And so again, like that's just not what we did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it is again that's why those assimilation is so important.
Right.
And that's why I say that, because it largely is that, because it is not talked about in the New Testament, where it is in the Talmud and in the Quran.
And I'll totally give you that like when we're talking about assimilation and cultural differences, how much of our culture has been shaped by Christian values, it's kind of hard to get around the fact that you're going to have to find some kind of middle ground
It's just the Ten Commandments.
Islamic values and Christian values if you're going to live in America. Because of that.
Or just Western culture. Or that's what it was supposed to be.
Western
but then
culture.
We've seen that just get,
I think we define Western culture at this point, honestly. After seeing what's going on with the UK, I think this is Western culture.
I don't even think we're just one step away from there. Whatever's happening there is just a forecast of what's going to happen here eventually.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm
such a forecasting.
That's why I'm so against ICE, is because I think it's government overreach on a blanket level, that if we permit the feds to do this kind of policing in states, it becomes a really big problem when you get a super liberal president kind of a thing that is willing to say critical speech is hate speech. And we're close to that right now. Right? Like we're close to that with a conservative government.
It's the anti-Semitic movement.
Yeah.
You know who runs that, right? You saw the task force put together.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and you also know who's now the head of DHS? He's a very pro-Israel guy.
Yeah. I think, what is it? I think right now we're in a very, very, very precarious place with freedom of speech, right? And the worse it gets, I think we get closer to dads and veterans and all these guys that have their Second Amendment rights for enemies, foreign and domestic. That you just push them real close to the edge on them saying, this whole government's not working anymore.
Well, it's because it doesn't matter.
It's kind of getting to that point.
It doesn't matter.
Where we're like, we can't do anything.
And that's
we can't vote our way out.
That's why I was saying earlier, there's two types of people right now. There's people who have accepted the reality as a lie.
Yeah.
And then there's people who haven't.
Yeah.
And the people who haven't are still on Instagram thinking like, oh, this administration. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, this administration. Oh, had you just voted for Kamala, this would... Yeah. You're a fool. Kamala had to take $6 million from AIPAC as well. Like she would have been worse. More of the same from Biden, if anything. It wouldn't have mattered. Because AIPAC was running Biden's campaign. So doesn't matter. Like, and it was running his whole administration, in my opinion. And now they've got Trump by the balls in the same way. In the same exact way. So like so it doesn't matter. That's what the uniparty is. I will never vote again. I don't know if I'll never vote again. I refuse. For what? Because here's the thing is like, what would we be replacing this with if we were going to... A true republic, back to where we were. So we need to go back before... We need to go back before Woodrow Wilson and FDR. Yeah. FDR fucked this whole thing. Yeah. And when you learn who was the publisher of the textbooks, and then you learn in the light in which you learn about Maxwell's, and then you learn about the light in which, then you connect it to how FDR is talked about in the textbooks. Yeah. He's talked about as this hero of national parks. The fucking dude, right? Yeah. Carry a big stick. Walk softly and carry a big stick. You're thinking of Theodore Roosevelt. Am I thinking of Theodore Roosevelt? Damn it. I think so, right? I don't know. I think you're thinking, walk a big stick. That's Theodore Roosevelt. Dang it. And he did national parks too. So FDR did Social Security. He expanded the federal government to the biggest Ponzi scheme of my lifetime. Oh, there it is. He expanded the federal government to such a point where has opened the floodgates to all of this. Yeah. He had large there's potential ties there to kind of like the pre-Israel folks already. Yeah. Like that's when they had some pretty strong influence with World War II there, and then it really opened in like JFK when they killed him. After that, that's when I think they slowly came from the shadows, and then when they framed Nixon, and then Bill Clinton or H.W. Bush, and then Clinton, and I think from then on they were they were in it. It's a runaway train. They were just in it at that point. I think it started off in the shadows, kind of like sprinkle. And then JFK was like, wait a minute, I don't feel too good about this. Bow. And then Nixon was like, JFK's gone. And then Nixon was like, wait a minute, I think I know who killed Nixon. Watergate, you did that. And then he covered it up, which was his mistake. Yeah. But he didn't do it, which is a whole crazy thing. You think that's what's happening? By the way, do you think that's what's happening with Trump? Is that he didn't do it, but his cover up is going to be the thing that people remember on Epstein? So, okay. Let's break this down. And then I got to reel back towards my second point about the trans agenda. Yeah, I'm very interested because I'm going to... I know. Yeah. We disagree on this. So, so with Trump. In the files, it says in like 2018 that if Trump gets backed into a wall, he's going to bomb Iran. I don't know why it says that, because this is largely a Netanyahu playbook. Like they wanted this. This has been craved since the 90s. So I think if there's an attack on American soil, it won't even be Iran. It'll be Israel trying to make it look like Iran. Well, we've already saw it. Yeah. The Austin shooting. Yeah. We deserve better. By the way, psyops. Mad props to APD. Props. 1 minute response time. Yeah. Incredible. Insane. Incredible. Yeah. Just absolutely incredible. But I mean, dude, I've said it before. I'm like, look, there's only two outcomes for this, or two reasons this happens on the same day we attack Iran. It's either a false flag, because public support was at the worst I've ever seen. Yeah. I've never seen us so vehemently against something as a collective. Yeah. Outside of your Christian Zionists, outside of those guys, 20%, and the people who are just like, they're so close to figuring out what's going on, but they can't, they just don't want to yet. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I get it. Here, we'll cuddle you. I don't want to believe that the whole world has been plotting against me and my children. I don't want to believe in the New World Order. I get it, right? It's a dark, scary place to go. Yep. And so, aside from those folks, like I would say it was like 96% fucking just terrible public perception. Like the public was ripping them apart. And I think that they were like, hey, we need some public support. And so let's get a property of all our sweatshirt guy to fucking go shoot a bar up. which
literally wearing a sweatshirt in Arabic.
Yeah. No, it's a property of Allah in English.
It said it in, oh my God,
in English, bro. You haven't seen the pictures of it?
I thought I missed it.
In English, bro.
Misremembered it.
Property of Allah.
That's such a psyop moment, man.
Like it was an Adidas sweatshirt, dude.
Yeah.
And so look, you know, false flag or not, we could sit here and talk about why I think it is and why I don't think it is or whatever. But the other side of it, okay, so then Iranian sleeper cells that we've heard so much about for the last 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. And now I'm starting to believe or starting to think like, was that even real? Like, was that a real thing? Is that a thing? Because I'm starting to think that maybe those guys were just a part of this bigger plan. But then I'm like, you know, sometimes I'm like, you give them way too much credit. Mm-hmm. But then, I mean, if that goes back to my religious standpoint. If they truly are tapped into some dark power that they have convinced the public to not believe in anymore. And I think that's where we go back to this like Christian root, Christianity or Christians being the real chosen people, and that it was the Jews until it wasn't. And then
until they allowed Christ to be crucified.
Yeah, until they did a little something there. Yeah.
Sold Christ for 20 pieces of silver or whatever it was. Yeah.
And then now the Christians then are the chosen people. Yeah. And then we've been just told like, this is bad, don't do this, they believe in this, they believe in that, they won't let you do this, they'll take your rights away, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And meanwhile, this entire time, these elites have been tapping into this dark power where, while telling us that the good power is bad and that you should not believe in it, you shouldn't believe in religion at all, it's all fake or it's all whatever, right? Like that's what it feels like sometimes, right?
Do you believe in a real devil, or do you believe in an archetype of evil that kind of represents all the bad things people do?
Well, I think if the Bible is true in the sense of like the devil runs this world, I do believe in the real devil. I think that, I mean, it could be.
I think I just believe in the capabilities of people, honestly. I don't think I need to give it a third. Like, here's my problem with the devil.
Why would I sacrifice kids? Why would I commit Moloch if I wasn't tapping into some darker power?
For power, right? Like for the power grab of...
But it has to be something there if they're doing it for this long.
Yes, but I don't necessarily think that it's like God's opposition. I think there's things beyond our understanding. And like what you give mindfulness to, what you pay attention to, where you put your brain and your energy, something comes back out of that, right? But I think that also people are motivated, like there are lots of people in the world that don't necessarily believe that Moloch is real unless you make sacrifices to him, unless you believe in him. And it's really about your belief.
Correct, but that's exactly my point. Mm-hmm. Okay? They have told us not to believe in those things, that they're not real, that there is no power you get from that. And that...
I think there is power you get from it.
I know. Yeah. Hold on. So that they have pushed this agenda, right? Don't believe in God. It leads you to think gay people can't get married, or if you have an abortion, you're going to hell. Like those kinds of constantly like in your face. You even see it now in like movies. Nobody's religious anymore. There's not like a God fearing character anymore. It's like completely gone, right? And so all this propaganda to lead us to this godless society, and that can mean a lot of different things, but just ultimately. It just means that it's just a godless society where they're just essentially in the root of it. It's just there's no accountability. There is no fear of repercussions, right? And it's in like the broadest of terms. It can mean different things to different people. It doesn't have to be tied to a religion. It just means that people are not believing that there is good that comes from that faith that you spoke about, right? Meanwhile, the people telling us those things are actually tapped into that evil power. That's why they're committing those Molochs, right? And so
the hypocrisy of it.
Then they are consuming this evil power, and the world just seems to keep getting more and more evil
because of dark wizards that are telling us not to believe in magic.
Right?
Yes.
But like, as silly as it sounds, that's what it feels like. Because the more and more you look around, people are way more comfortable being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's
my American right to be an asshole. Did you know?
They're just like, because of social media and typing online, you can say whatever you want. There's no physical repercussions for that.
Yeah. Not in our gyms, but.
And so, well, I think that's why martial arts is so important. But the point is, like, that's what it feels like. It feels like these folks are truly doing and tapping into the power. Like, it goes back to what I was saying. Religion is either 100% correct, and then what the Bible says is 100% true, or none of it is true and it's all fake. There is no in between at the moment.
Well, and there's a common saying about that with Jesus is that people say he's either Lord, lunatic, or liar. Can only be one, right? And I don't know if I super subscribe to that. I think a lot of Jesus's message has been twisted. And if you look at the difference between like the red letter words of Christ in the Bible, what he said and the way he lived, versus like Paul's interpretation of it in the later Gospels, just personally as a student of religion, I think there's a lot of room where Christ has been misinterpreted.
But who wrote that?
That's the thing, is there's not a single book of the Bible that was written in any shorter amount of time than 30 years after Jesus' death. Did you know that? I mean, like they didn't document this stuff for 30 years. There were basically people would write on scraps of paper his sayings and pass them around within the church.
When did the Dead Sea Scrolls come?
Dead Sea Scrolls are Old Testament. So those are older than Jesus is the idea. And they show us at least scriptural consistency between our version of the Old Testament that we get today. And
it's like 36%. It's a word for word match, which is pretty fucking crazy.
It's pretty good. Honestly, for that many games of telephone, very good.
That's crazy.
But the life of Jesus, here's the thing where I get into a big disagreement with Christians is that I don't believe the Bible, and this is the pushback on what you're just saying about either it's true or it's not true. I think there is a gray area in the middle. Which is believing that the Bible is valuable and it tells a story of Jesus, which is a valuable story, and I get a lot from it. And there's truth and very salient things in there that are important to live your life around. But I don't necessarily believe that the Bible is an inerrant book, which is what Christians tend to believe, which is that it's a protected word of God. The core message of it, God wouldn't allow it to be contaminated by time or by selfish people.
But then how is it all playing out in real time?
Well, and here's the thing. I think there's a lot of it that's valuable. And we can kind of I feel like the discussion about how many prophecies in the Bible are coming true now could be interpreted as coming true or come true in the past, right? That's a different discussion than saying the entire thing is word for word protected by God wholly. And I think, like I said before, I think it's humans trying to describe where God showed up in the world and describe those moments. And it's through their lens a lot of the time. And I think we have to give respect to the fact that they have a lens, they have a perspective, and that their documentation of this stuff is going to come through that lens. So for me, I study the Bible. I live by the Bible's principles, but I don't necessarily think it's a perfect protected book. I think that we have to be good stewards of the fact that it is a book. And that while 36% of the Old Testament is consistent with the Dead Sea Scrolls, that is a third. That has been in some way changed by time. And there were times in history when the church and legal authority were the same thing.
Sure.
And if there is an impetus for the church to be a more controlling narrative on the way people live their lives, I think there's always a chance that it could have been seized upon in the past.
Sure, but that's human nature.
And right. that's what I'm accounting for. That's saying human nature. No, I'm not going to take human nature out of the Bible.
Yeah, I understand that part.
Yeah.
I think that's where like the 10 Commandments come in.
And they're good. Those are good. There are some things in there I don't think we should put in schools. You should no idols. You shall have no idol above me. You shall have no God above me.
Why not?
Because
who should we idol? We just found out that almost all of them are fucking child rapists.
Right.
Who should we idol?
Here's the thing is that's a purely religious perspective though.
But why?
I don't know if it should be in our government. Okay. I think don't lie, don't steal,
sure.
Don't respect other people's property. Don't covet other people's property. Probably a good way to live, but maybe not something we put for the kids. And because I think it can become religious indoctrination, and I think it'll end up pushing more kids away from the Bible than it will bring them to it.
Maybe. But I think people largely would be better.
I don't know. Well, and here, let's also...
Because it goes back to the accountability.
While we're disagreeing...
There's someone watching.
While we're disagreeing, also, I think you can have non-religious accountability. I do. I think it's possible. I just think we don't have it now. And
so then now you're discrediting human nature. Human nature will always take the path of least resistance.
I think public executions are a great deterrent.
I don't disagree.
But I
mean, the UAE has shown Saudi Arabia
losing your hand when you steal is a great deterrent from theft.
There is definitely Arab countries that have proven this to be true.
Yep, that you can have social accountability systems that work. They just have to be harsh. And I'm not advocating for necessarily cutting people's hands off that steal a loaf of bread, whatever, right? But I don't know. I'm just saying that it's possible for people that are never going to respect a religious authority, for a higher power authority, you have to create a social consequence heavy enough to be a deterrent.
I respect your optimism. However, we are living in a data set that is proving you wrong.
I think we'll see.
No, I think we are seeing. I don't think we need to see anymore.
We might see the wheel turn back.
Well,
is my opinion.
We are.
And this is part of my optimism, right? Is that I think the accountability for what's happening now does come back around.
You're seeing the largest turn to religion in a very long time. Mm-hmm. It's the youngest crowd to make that turn, right? Yeah. And I think that just shows that is the correct.
I just want my peers to engage themselves intellectually while they turn to religion, not just buy your ideology wholesale.
Sure.
I'm a Christian, I believe these things because that's what Christians believe. No, correct. Engage yourself.
I understand what you want. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. What I am saying, so you're taking the extreme version of it. What I am saying is that at the root, a person, right? If you just rename the 10 Commandments, fucking guidelines to life, and you take out, don't use the Lord's name in vain, and you take out the religious ones, I think the idol ones, I think you leave the idol ones in there. I would disagree with that because we should not be idolizing fucking anyone.
There's 3 or 4 that are explicitly religious that I would like to see cut if we're going to have it in schools. But go ahead. And we could have a debate on potentially the merits of each of them, right?
But I think I think the thought process, and obviously it is tied to a theocracy. It's tied to very rich Christian nationalists, billionaire oil folks here in Texas. I get that, right?
Yep.
I want to take that away for a second. And the thought process of it makes sense at the root, where you then rename it to something like the Guidelines for Life. I really don't give a fuck what you rename it to.
Sure.
The issue is that we have a society full of headless sheeps that have no idea where they're going.
Yeah.
They have nothing guiding them. Yeah. And whether people want to fucking realize it or not, not everyone is a wolf. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's okay. But the issue is everybody sees themselves as a wolf versus accepting that they're not.
Yeah.
And then we get to this point where it is just narcissistic everywhere.
Yeah.
We have everyone and their mama has some kind of fucking mental health issue. They think that no one else understands how they feel, even though we're all very similar in very large regards.
Yeah.
Well, plenty of people have had fucked up childhoods. Okay, maybe it's not identical to yours, but this other person had awful shit also happen to them.
And you also become accountable for your lived adult life, regardless of your childhood, honestly. Like, correct. There are too many people that live in this victim mentality for their entire lives. And, like, people that I love included, where I'm just like, please, I understand something happened to you. Sure. I understand that you're hurt, you're wounded, all this stuff. But no one is ever going to make you better.
No one's coming to save you.
Nobody.
And then that is where
work harder.
God then comes in.
Yeah.
And we've created this godless society, and we are seeing the absolute repercussions of it. We don't need a bigger data set. There's a reason why this shit is trying to turn, because of that reason. We have done this. We've tried this. We've done this whole fucking, we're going to vote for these folks. We're going to do all this, the lesser of greater evils. Like
I did vote this primary.
I know you did.
Yeah.
I know you did. It's adorable. I love you for it. And it's, we've done it all, and something's got to give. Something has to change. Otherwise, this is life. Okay. Palantir will run the fucking world. Yeah. Like, this is where we're getting.
Will run the entire.
This is where
world?
We're getting, right?
Yeah, they're already in contract with OpenAI
yeah.
for like surveilling
Japan
U.S. citizens.
Just brought them in too.
Yeah, and like that's completely unconstitutional. That's not what the departments are made for.
Yeah, but man, they've been doing all this for fucking forever. It's just
agreed. At this point, join the FBI, because like, why would you want to be on this side of it? Like, this is not the side where the power rests.
Yeah,
honestly. But
it's troubling.
The moral implications of what you're saying, I agree. As long as we rename it, as long as we don't make it the stepping stone to theocracy, because that is our big problem with the Middle East. That is the reason we've been in so many of these conflicts, is because they believe they can kill infidels.
Is that why?
Theocracy?
I think theocracy. Is that really why we go over there?
And oil. And yeah, there's a few other things.
There's a country over there that really
doesn't like their neighbors.
That really wants us to.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I think it's less and less about the Islamic regime and the killing the protesters and the covering of the women. It's less and less of that every day.
I feel that, but I'm just saying theocracy is dangerous.
I don't disagree.
When you are an advocate for the 10 Commandments in classrooms, I say I could never vote for that bill. But if we want to start putting out moral guidelines and pointing out like a theistic worldview to the kids, where higher power, there is some accountability beyond you, that is important. I will give you that. And okay, so to circle back to the trans thing, where I know we disagree on this, right? Because we're talking about the movement of pride begets the movement of trans, and so on and so forth. And then the trans movement encroaches into child safety space, which is a big problem. And that we're in total agreement on, right? Like if you can't get a tattoo.
Just women's safety.
Yeah, women's safety as well is actually a very, very valid concern.
Or just sports.
Sports is pretty easily addressable, in my opinion. I think that's a pretty clear cut. If you want sports to be biological, we can make the rules to make it biological. And
wait, so it's not biological?
Currently, I think for the past couple of years, we've been outing like that boxer,
which was a man.
Yeah,
it was a man.
That's what I'm saying.
She won gold. She won gold.
Yeah, they won gold for sure.
Yeah,
and that's a problem, right? and if we want that to stop happening, we need to decide that sports are biological. And that's a fair distinction to make, because there's such a clear-cut difference in muscle mass and in speed and in so many other things that it's not fair.
You have these doctors sitting in Senate who can't define a man and a woman, or can men get pregnant?
Yeah, and that's...
Saw this 5-minute clip with Senator Hawley and him interrogating the doctor, and she just refused.
See, and that's because they're scared of offending people. And if you just have, like, if you're in a position of leadership,
you have to hurt people's feelings.
You first of all have to hurt people's feelings, and also you have to be able to explain your fucking position.
Yeah.
Like, and my position, to be clear, is adults can do whatever they want.
Sure.
Adults can do whatever you want as long as it's not hurting anybody.
Sure.
Right? If I don't want what you're doing to affect my kids, it's my responsibility as a parent to keep my kid away from you. Right? That's one side of it, right?
I do think the only pushback to that is public schools.
Yeah, and public schools, it has no place.
And drag queens reading to kids, all these things.
And that, I think that was an inflated
potentially
situation.
But it's weird nonetheless.
It is weird, and nobody disagrees that it's weird.
It's
like
also
why we get background. I used to work for public schools, right? You get background checked, you know, like
background check for guns. What does that mean?
You get background checked as in like, and you're also actively monitored for children's safety. You have a bunch of other adults in the room that are also trained mandatory reporters, all this kind of stuff. Your life can explode if you're not doing your job correctly, including watching your peers, kind of a thing. So that I don't think we should be marketing lifestyles that are sexualized in any degree.
Teaching kids about anal sex.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is like
it's indoctrination.
It is.
It's grooming.
It is. And everybody, I think the vast majority of obviously the conservative side of things, but I think the people in the middle of the centrists on all sides are against any of this interaction with kids at all.
I agree. However, there's a select amount of them that are willing to just go along with it because they don't want to upset people or upset the team that they largely side with.
Or say that, like, for instance, gender affirming care for minors, right, should be parental consent. And that's their line for it.
No, it should just not be a fucking thing.
And I don't think it should be a thing.
Should not be a thing. I don't give a fuck if your parent says you could.
Dude,
It should be completely illegal.
If I give the consent for my daughter, who's 3, to get a tattoo, I'm still gonna get like arrested for child abuse, you know?
Wow.
Like, yeah, like it's
a wild decision.
Right, it would. That's the thing though.
Yeah.
It's a wild decision.
It's a wild decision.
It's a permanent body modification based on feelings. And that's the thing. I love tattoos. I'm getting new tattoos all the time. And like I want to be neck down covered. I'm also almost 30.
I love tattoos too.
And like, yeah, don't you have some on your...
I have ribcage, but I'm indecisive as fuck. I want my arm done and leg done. I want tattoos. Like, I want more, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean...
We love body mods. We like it. We like adults being able to decide how they want to look.
Yeah.
How they want to interact with the world. And also taking on the risk that it can pose to how other people perceive you.
So I'm waiting for you to get to the part we disagree on.
The disagree part is...
Or you assume that we disagree on.
I started with the kids side, right, and body mods, right? Treating
any of it.
Treating trans as body mods, adults by all means do your thing.
Sure. Adults
stay away from the kids.
Want,
and don't give the kids meds, right? That are especially permanent ones. Oh my God. Or surgeries or anything like that.
Nothing.
But trans adults are in the reality of who we live near, especially in Austin.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Is it though? Because there's also autogonophilia, which is a real thing, and probably just as common, if not more common, than true gender dysphoria.
And gender dysphoria has become a fad to a large degree, and that's why we see so many teenagers doing it and then regretting it and things like that.
And then killing themselves.
There's a problem with that. But I think where I disagree with liberals, like full-on liberals, and that you would also disagree, is that gender-affirming care is life-saving care because it prevents suicides. Disagree. Disagree. Where I think you and I will also disagree is that I think the transgender community is part of the community.
What community?
Our community.
Sure.
Our Austin community.
Humans.
I want them to come to my church. I want them to feel loved and respected. If they ask me to call them a certain thing, and I'm a respectful person and I want them to feel loved and seen, I'll just call them it. I don't care.
This is where it becomes a slippery slope, right? Because again, autogonophilia is a real thing. It's interesting, dude, because if you
think I'm risking playing somebody's sex game by giving them the pronouns they ask for?
Potentially. It's possible. Okay. I'm not saying it's overly likely, but it's also not overly likely that they are truly gender dysphoric.
Yeah, and I think... But here's the thing, if they are, it's okay to have mental illness. And it's okay to live with it. And
it's also okay to lock them up. In a loony bin.
If they commit a crime, sure.
Bro, people forget we just got rid of mental hospitals.
I know.
And I'm not saying that,
I know you're not saying arrest everybody that is trans either. You know, like, I get it.
That they were great. But people do forget that there was at some point, there's just some people that they don't get to walk around in society. There are fucking lunatics.
Yeah.
And that is the part that always has to be factored in. And it goes back to what you were saying. If you believe in human nature, then you also believe in con artists and you believe in lunatics.
Yes. And I also believe in harsher punishments for crime in general than we really have here.
You mean don't let out the 14-time offender so that they can go fucking kill somebody else?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And I also believe that drug offenders should be rehabbed, not taking up my jail space, kind of a thing where I have to pay for them to live.
I also don't want to pay for child predators. I think they should just be off.
You think that's
That's
off?
my tax money.
Yeah. I think if they hurt a kid, they should be offed. I think there's a little bit of nuance towards like, I don't know, if they are intending to hurt a kid, but they don't yet, I think they should still be locked up, but I don't know if we should kill them right away.
I mean, and then you have Virginia that took away the minimum sentencing for child pornography.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I actually heard a pretty good counter argument.
There should be.
I can't remember what it was. Yeah, there should be minimum sentence. But I think the counter argument was like, what if someone sends you something like, and you think she's 18 or something? I don't remember exactly. Someone gave me I know.
Choose your friends better.
Yeah, someone gave me
Don't give out your number.
Someone gave me a decent counter argument, and I was like, okay, I guess that somewhat makes sense. But
I'm just not going to be I'm not going to be a predator.
It's not great.
Apologist.
Yeah, it's not great.
Like,
but you have states here in the U.S. that the age of consent is still 14. New Jersey is one of them,
and that's insane.
It is pretty crazy.
But
here's the other thing that Here's the other thing that is a weird topic, but this has largely been a normal thing for a long time, up until like 200, 300 years ago.
Yep.
This was pretty normal. People just married 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, young, fertile. You didn't live that long.
Yeah.
And so it is a very interesting part of human nature.
And I think, but here's the thing is like, now we have we also used to do a lot of things up to 300 years ago. And I think now that we understand the real reason that age of consent is where it is not for physical maturity, it's for mental maturity.
Yeah.
And it's for like brain development.
Yeah.
It's the same reason the drinking age is 21, the smoking age is 21, is because you can do damage to your brain doing that stuff before then, because your prefrontal cortex isn't done until you're 25 in men. And I noticed the difference, by the way, between being a 21-year-old and being a 25-year-old. Like, you feel cognitively different. The maturity aspect of this stuff is, I don't know. I think the science backs that 18 is the soonest you should be making permanent decisions.
And then it's even questionable at that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to let people do what they want to do at some point. Right?
I honestly don't think you should be able to draft people younger than 21. I don't think you should be able to be in the military younger than 21. I think 21 is a more reasonable age of consent for most things as an adult than 18 personally. Maybe it's because I'm an old head I'm getting old now. I'm sure the 19-year-old version of me would hate this.
I'm just always on the side of freedom for the most part. I don't like when people tell me I can't do something or do something.
You have the right to ruin your life.
But there has to be, right? And that goes back to like hurting people's feelings. Survival of the fittest is a real fucking thing. Some people are just going to do dumb shit.
Yep.
And you just kind of have to let them do dumb shit.
Yeah. And they're going to ruin their life over it. And I'm kind of pro drugs in that respect.
But they might not, But they might not also, they might ruin it for a time, but then they might come out on the other end a phenomenal human being, in which you see people go through these trials and tribulations, and they did fuck up, and then they come out on the other end incredible members of society.
Yeah.
But if you try to coddle them and you try to make it to where they can never fuck it up in the first place, it goes against how we learn. And
I think you have the right to ruin your life on heroin if you really want to. And I think there should be two things in place. There should be a social safety net in the respect that, like, we should be providing a resource for you to recover if you want.
See that.
But I don't think I should force you to, and I don't think you should become a tax burden outside of wanting to rejoin productive society. And if there's nothing stigmatizing you, spending the next 12 years of your life shooting up until you die, and you don't really want to rejoin society, by all means, go for it. Yeah. Don't do it on the streets. I don't know what public housing kind of situation would have to look like for that. And again, we're back to another social safety net, another check we have to write out of our taxes to support people that are not contributing. That's a complicated thing.
Interesting.
But I do believe in autonomy above all things.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings it back to the trans thing, is they have the autonomy to ask me politely if I'll call you a she.
But I also have the autonomy to say no.
And I have the autonomy to think you're an asshole if you do.
But I was like, if you, yeah, but I mean, that's how it goes.
It is.
You have the ability to do whatever the fuck you want. You can dress up as a fucking furry, but it doesn't mean I'm going to call you a squirrel.
Nope. And it doesn't mean I'm going to bring my kid anywhere near you. It doesn't mean you're going to get invited to my house or to the cookout or whatever.
And it doesn't mean that you have the right to then get me fired or get me in trouble or like fucking anything like that. No, like I don't have to play, like we don't have to play into the game.
But
because
when somebody comes into my church
on the flip side,
and they're looking to feel plugged in, they're looking to feel accepted and like looking to find a community that is encouraging the fact that they have a relationship with God too.
Yeah.
In that situation, I'm gonna call you what you asked to be called. I'm going to love on you as much as it makes sense in here. I may not invite you to serve with the kids because I don't know your safety I don't know your safety level, right? I may not invite you to my home yet because I don't know your safety level, and maybe I don't like you. Maybe we're not meant to be friends.
Also okay.
You know? Like, you can be part of my church and community, and I may not want to be your friend.
It's also okay.
But I personally think that, like, I have no problem with the pronouns thing. I think it's a culture war that is a non-issue. Because if you're an asshole and you're okay with being an asshole, you're just not going to do it. And, like, there should be no negative repercussions other than social in that situation.
People do it just the virtue signal.
And
you see it all over the
that's a thing too.
All over the corporate world.
My church,
all over the corporate world.
My church, which I volunteer at, they asked us to redo our name badges with pronouns.
Huh.
And I said, I'm going to opt out.
Yeah.
And they said they weren't going to have a conversation about it, but I was like completely prepared to sit there and say that, like, that's a virtue signal I don't need to do. I think I present exactly what I am. And I don't think I need to put it on a badge in order for you to know who I am. If you don't know, you can ask me. And I'm here to love on people without making a culture statement about it on my chest.
Yeah,
right?
I don't need to know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what largely is the upsetting part.
Yeah.
I don't largely disagree with what you're saying. But I do think I get frustrated when it gets to that point, right? Where it's a fucking virtue signal and everybody is like, they're trying to virtue how good of a person they are just because they put she, her, and they're fucking completely straight, have no, like,
I never doubted, you know,
and it's like,
I never wondered, you know,
what are we doing? What are we doing here?
And unless you're communicating something to me that is not obvious from your presentation, at that point, sure, by all means, let me know.
And that would be completely different.
And here's the thing: is like
completely different conversation.
Also, me having a conversation with you and you letting me know that kind of a thing is different from you. I'm shopping for groceries and you're walking up to me and telling me your pronouns. That's weird. That's weird whether or not you're in this protected class of trans individuals.
Or if you're just my cashier or something, and I say yes, ma'am, or no, sir, and you correct me, bitch, I will punch you in the throat. Stop. What are we doing? Like,
he said, I'm not above violence. Like, all right? Like,
just
say have a great day and let me leave.
I don't know you personally.
Yeah.
It is just how I talk.
Yeah. We're in the South. Yeah.
Let it roll off your shoulder. Yeah, and if we were friends and I did that, then it would be a different discussion, because then at that point you can tell me, like, hey, this is how I would like to be called. Then, okay, most likely I would probably abide by. But I don't need, like, if I just randomly, I don't know you, fucking let it roll right off your shoulder, bro.
The virtue signal is insane. Like, I think the same thing is starting, and I'm going to caution you, I think the same thing is starting to happen with Christian nationalism and what used to be the conservative movement, right? Now, I think so many of us are partyless, right? Because we would have identified as either centrist, conservative leaning, or true conservative, or what have you. And then we've seen what was supposed to be one of the most conservative administrations in a decade or two come through and cover for Epstein and be increasingly Israel's lapdog, in my experience.
And so I think this is what's important to clarify, though.
Yeah.
It is just open now. Mm-hmm. This is how it's always been.
You think it's open season? Like, it's like...
I'm saying, like, no. What I'm saying is that this is just how it's been since JFK. It is just very open now.
Yeah, it's
very
more transparent.
It's very just like, oh, we're very much aware now.
Yeah. Of the uniparty.
Correct. And this is where people really need to drill this into their mind. They think that like, oh, this is a Trump problem. Oh, this is a Republican problem. Oh, this is a Democratic problem. Oh, this is a whoever problem. No. This game has been being played. This has been a long game that is now coming to a head. We're seeing the globalists and these folks all, like, everything coming full circle, which is why I think it's so important to look at all these things as, sure, they might be individual things, but then you start connecting the dots from here to here to here to here to here to here, and you're like, holy shit, this was all just one big game.
Yeah.
They were just playing a game with our lives, and they've marched us down this path.
With our kids.
And they've marched us down this path, and they have led us to this moment. And there have been people along the way who have constantly told us, hey, stop, listen to what I'm saying. This is bad. Yeah. Shut up, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not go any further. Shut up, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not do this no more. Yeah. Shut up, you're crazy. And then now here we are.
Well, and I guess what my question always is it what they're saying or is it why they're saying it? Like, if you're saying we need common sense barriers against this erosion in public morality, right? In morality in general, in our country, in our leadership, in our nation, right? In our world. This erosion of morality keeps going. And then there's these people that keep saying, hold on a second, this is wrong. And then we say, the reason you're saying this is wrong is because of your holy book that I disagree with. And so we say, because of the why, your moral stopping point is irrelevant.
And then now we have created a godless society because we have blamed that being their crutch. And it's like, there is some truth to that. I'm sure that is why they began to feel that way.
Yeah.
But then they continued feeling that way because of reality.
Yeah.
And that goes back to like the 10 Commandments, and that goes back to the godless society thing. It's like, yes, it started off as this theocracy potentially, or like this potential theocracy, but it has grown or felt or continues to feel this way because of actual reality.
Yeah.
And
I just like, I guess part of this is coming from the fact that I've been like pitting myself against the Christian nationalists so much in social media lately, and like Twitter and Facebook and whatever, right? My friends are annoyed with having seen it so much lately, is that I am getting into debates and arguments with people about this stuff. But the why you have your beliefs versus what your beliefs in reality are, and whether or not they serve the public benefit or serve to make our world a better place, I think that debate has to stop or we don't make progress. And I'm still optimistic. I think we can make progress. I think the wheel can turn all the way back around again.
I don't know.
You think it's completely off the track. I think with this much exposure, I think with the right amount of leverage and with the right amount of threat of civil unrest.
But there's still too many people who don't accept it.
Who think the Epstein thing is still a conbro? There's people out there that think that?
Well, they definitely think Pizzagate's a conspiracy still.
It's in the Epstein files.
They don't care. I've had this. Bro, have you not seen the amount of people who still post Obama as like their poster child president on their Instagram?
Drone strike Obama?
It's not even just that. Pizzagate Obama. Like,
yeah.
It's all throughout the files.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Weiner's emails was the first evidence of it, and then the files just confirms it. So now we've seen it multiple times.
Doesn't Massey give you hope? Doesn't
No.
No?
No. Because...
Hot take.
They get everyone. No matter what.
Okay.
We've seen it time and time again. I had hope in 2024.
I know you did. Yeah.
I had a lot of hope, right?
You know, I voted third party in 24. I was like, I can't vote for Trump. Can't vote for Kamala, certainly.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But I had hope. And it wasn't that I was necessarily voting so much for Trump, but I was voting for RFK. I had belief in Kash Patel at some point. Yeah, that was, boy, we could talk about that one.
Boy, were we off the rails on that one.
I think that RFK has done a lot of good things. And I also think that he sold out in some ways as well.
He completely sold out.
Which is, again, completely inevitable. It just has proven to be inevitable.
Because you remember, I was literally campaigning for him. For RFK when he was running for president. And then he said, I will not take an appointment to go for Trump. And then he did it anyways. After I donated. After I put a sign in my yard.
But they get everybody. Even Bernie sold out eventually.
Yeah.
Like Bernie, someone he's been in protest since the 60s.
Yeah.
And
against capitalism as a concept.
He sold out.
Well, he's got mansions, bro.
He sold out.
He spent all this time criticizing capitalism while living in three
But I'm
mansions,
saying, like, he stuck true to his beliefs for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
And then after they fucked him in 2016 or whenever that primary was, 2014 or whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever they did that, he just kept going along with it. He was like, oh, they didn't do nothing wrong. Bro, what? We all saw it. They literally just blackmailed you and just completely kept you from that primary. But nonetheless, I think they get everybody. And so this whole Thomas Massey thing, the reason why is I no longer believe in coincidences. I don't believe anyone is in this place doing what they're doing by coincidence.
You think it's all theater? Huh?
I don't know. But I am not willing. I am not willing to give up it's all theater yet, because everything has been.
Yeah.
Leading up to this point, dude. Drew. Leading up to this point, bro.
Big bro.
McGraw-Hill. Our textbooks.
Yeah. Public schools in Texas, baby.
Published. Yeah. By. No, not even just Texas, bro. I wasn't even in here. I was here.
You had McGraw-Hill in other states too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right? I'm like 99% sure. That cannot be just a Texas thing. There's no way. That was countrywide. Probably worldwide, bro. Look.
It's all theater.
It could be. And then you hear about like the Rothschilds potential.
Products are used approximately 92% of U.S. school districts.
92% of U.S.
There it is.
Districts.
So, then you learn that MLK was a big pro-Israel guy, and that Malcolm X really disliked MLK and what he stood for.
Yeah, Malcolm X was really Islamic though as well too.
So, regardless of that, maybe not, I don't know, but you start to realize, you're like, man, was like, it goes back to that idolizing thing. He could have been a plant. Could have been, right? All this pitting between the white man and the black man. When it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not you.
No.
There's a very particular white man that it seems that has done a lot of
and gained a lot of power. And folks, newsflash: the white privilege has not trickled down this far.
So it's like, hold on, dude. And so growing up, right, you hear all this like, this white man versus the black man, and then we get to like the late 2000s, 2015, 2016, where they start all this anti-racism, and you're like, dude, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it's college for you and me.
I've never felt this way. Like, who are we talking about? It goes back, like, even the silliest and most simple example of it is like the stereotype of white people don't season. I never understood it.
Yeah.
Right? We always seasoned. Growing up, fucking everything was seasoned, right? And
do you guys know what the transatlantic trade was with Britain to India? Like it was to get seasonings.
And then I went to the UK.
Yeah.
And I tasted that bland ass food, and I was like, oh, you mean these white folks?
Yeah.
And so then then you start digging into it a little bit more, and you find out who owned the Atlantic slave trade and who kept that going, and where it went through. Oddly enough, the Epstein Island, and you're like. Then you go back to MLK being super pro-Israel, and you're like, could this guy be a CIA plant?
So the whole thing, you think, and I think the CIA killed him is what I think happened.
Well, I agree. So why would they do that? Probably because they put him there, and then they got what they needed, and then they were like, and
the CIA also did Manson. They also did
JFK.
JFK.
But is it the CIA or is it the Mossad?
What's the difference? What's the difference? Exactly. I think we're in the United States of Israel, my man. So, here's the thing is like my optimism. This is where you and I have a big diversion. My optimism says the wheel will turn back around. We will come back around to looking back on this and prosecuting and seeing some accountability come back. There will be like a pendulum.
When?
Well, and here's the thing. Like a pendulum, it can only swing so far the other way before gravity comes and sends it dramatically back.
With political talk tracks, this is not a political talk track. This is my thing. This is a uniparty. This is a group in the shadows, pulling the strings, leading us down the path, no matter what. Think about your entire life.
Such a doomer now, dude.
No, but listen. Think about your entire life, all 32 years.
Yeah.
You have voted. How many of those elections have you voted since you turned 18? A lot.
Just 3. Yeah.
Oh, just 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's even actually more to my fucking point. Either way, it would have proved my point. But nonetheless.
Non-primary elections? Yes, 3.
Just any of them.
Yeah. Oh, then like 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you voted 8 times. So there's one every 4 years for the primaries. So that's almost your entire adulthood.
Yes.
And guess what? We still got to this motherfucking point no matter what. Because it didn't matter. It never mattered. It wouldn't have mattered who won or who lost. Goes back to the statistic I just brought up.
Where's the money from?
In 2024, 98% of the candidates who won were all backed by the same people.
Yeah.
How
Who is it funded by?
How those 2% of people won, I have no idea. I would love to know who those 2% people and are they still unfunded by them?
Can we keep pushing that envelope bigger?
It doesn't seem like it because I'm sure no one thought about that when they voted this primary election.
Everybody, like there's such a high percentage of people under the age of 35 that are completely disillusioned with AIPAC, with the Israeli lobby, with wars in the Middle East.
Is it too late?
They got to die at some point, don't they?
But if they really, again, that goes back to the third temple thing.
If they can create outside of like the religious potential, if they can create a permanent underclass, because they've been talking about that with the whole AI thing. That's the new narrative, is a permanent underclass, right? Of people who cannot escape their caste in life, right? Then we're fucked, for sure. But
hold on.
Isn't there a chance?
Hold on, though. Let me, it's not that I'm not a happy person. Like, I enjoy life, which is why I think this is so frustrating for me.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing when I was talking to Adam about this. He had a really interesting perspective on religion and whether or not he believed in God or heaven and hell. And so his take, or like a little bit of it, and I don't want to misquote him because he kind of like, it was a mixture of like, yes, heaven and hell and God, and no heaven. It was a kind of a mixture. But ultimately, one of the things that I was thinking about is that if we just go past this, right, which largely looks like is happening, no one's getting arrested. Bill Clinton is sitting there looking at the files, fucking smiling and having a good old time. Hillary Clinton.
Good memories.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton is literally asked about frazzle drip on camera, and then the cameras goes, we're done with this. If nothing happens, then life no longer matters. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And on your individual level,
slaves.
your individual level, sure, man, be good parent, show up for your kids,
show up for my community,
protect
the
them,
little stuff,
right?
Yeah.
The little stuff, cool. But on the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter no more, right? And so what we were talking about with Adam is like, this really fucking breaks his entire world, because if you're not looking forward to an afterlife, right? Where a lot of religious folks, they're like, look, this is just a passage to an eternity, right? And if that's your thought process, then you can accept. I've had people who have kind of accepted this and like, oh, well, God will deal with them. And it's like, I have a really hard time with that because I'm living right now.
Yeah. And
right?
I also I think that heaven and hell thing can be a cop-out, putting out to the future. This, like, everything's going to be all right after you die. No, you got to live like you're alive, and you got to live like this might be it.
I agree.
And like, I think if if you push the everything becomes okay to after you die, you could live your whole life being like, it'll be fine because I'm getting into heaven and you're not.
Yeah,
you know.
And I don't want to like simplify it. Yeah. They're really saying like they're having that faith to walk them through this, so that they're not
have faith in yourself, have faith in the community, have faith that we together can say we think the same way about this. We can find everybody else that agrees that this is all fucked up. We can shake hands with each other and we can change something.
I don't disagree. I'm just explaining the perspective I've been told.
I get
by people I know, and it's frustrating.
It's for us to fix.
I agree.
What if we're in heaven and we're just messing it up?
I fully believe it's on the people. I fully believe that we are on the brink of something that will forever change the world and civilization as we know it.
We're close. We're real close.
And the point that I'm driving home is that you have voted 8 times and it never fucking mattered. You had the perception that it mattered, and it's all been perceived to matter. But no matter what, we've gotten to this exact same point, regardless of anyone's advocation, anyone's primaries, anyone's political platform.
Yeah.
No matter what anyone has ever said, we have been marching down this slow path to communism. No matter what.
So my response to that is maybe you should run. Maybe we should, you know what I mean? Like it's real.
No,
it's
just
real.
Kill us, bro.
No, it's real. Okay, because like here's the thing. It's maybe you should run. Maybe I should be part of your campaign. Maybe if not you, if not me, then in our group of 15 guys that hang out regularly, right? Like whatever it is, we find the guy that is the best face for it, and we put our heads together and we promise to keep each other accountable, and we promise not to be corruptible, and we hold each and say, I'm going to physically kick your ass if you do get corruptible, you know? Like
I love that, but I would much rather us just build a commune and say, fuck all of y'all.
But what if we can, I don't know, man. I think that's how the wheel turns, is people like us that see things clearly, that have the vision of how things should be, right? Instead of having a microcosm of communism.
8 weeks ago, I would give you a hug and say, let's fucking do it.
Yeah. That
was until we realized the satanic cult, well, we kind of knew, but until we got confirmation.
That they're eating the babies?
I always say it is different for us to be conspiracy theorists, and it's then different for it to then be like proven, true.
Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope.
I'm not saying that I'm giving up hope.
For all of us. Not just for you and me, but for all of us.
What I'm saying is that we hit a line.
Yeah.
And we haven't started fighting yet. And I'm just...
I don't know about you, but my magazines are loaded, man. The thing that kind of brings it back to my problem with where we're at right now is we're all going, my magazines are loaded. You know, I'm ready. Let's end the problem, right? But we're not organized. We're afraid of becoming organized because of the surveillance state.
Well,
and
I think
we have no clear vision of what comes after. Is it just the same republic but ousting the bad guys?
I think we have to accept that.
Then let's get an agreement on it. Let's get the message distributed and pick a date without somehow getting killed by the FBI.
They did like way too good of a job. Think about it.
Well, they did a great job with Waco. They did a great job with...
Think about it. We've hit this point. The files are out. Half the files. There's another still 3 million that probably have way worse shit.
They're not going to let them out.
They will never let them out. I don't think we would have got... And I want to be clear. I don't think we would have got them had Kamala won. I've said this before. I don't agree. I don't think so.
She's not retroactively a better choice. No.
No, and I stand by that. Like
retroactively, the best choice was to throw your vote away symbolically.
Everyone should have just not have voted. Yeah, everyone should have just not have voted. That was the best choice retroactively. Yeah. But retroactively saying that like, oh, that's the point that I was driving home is that if you think like, oh, this just suddenly happened, or oh, this is because Trump is an errand boy for Netanyahu, oh, because Trump's in the files, oh, because Trump did this, or if you really, 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 really believe that, then you just have not been paying attention. This didn't just happen overnight. This didn't just happen because the orange man is bad and he got into the office.
Yeah.
No.
The
These
Iranian
roots-
conflict is very old as well.
Yeah, the roots have been there for many, 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 many years, at least to JFK in the U.S. You can even go back to
At
FDR.
least to 1947, in my opinion.
Well, I'm saying, no, before that, dude. You've never seen Jacob Rothschild talk about how they got Israel in the first place? 1917, sending a letter or buying a lot of the UK, like politicians, and using a lot of money and using a lot of influence. In 1917, they told them they were going to get Israel.
That's when the Zionist agenda was starting to peak for sure, because it happened.
I think it was before.
Pushing in the late 1800s.
Yeah, I think it was like 1850s is what they can tie it back to. But I think this goes back to biblical times, and that goes back to the whole conversation.
And that goes back to religious superiority complex and affecting geopolitical atmospheres.
Dude, I mean, it is entirely possible. It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible that's how we got here. And the reason being is because we're seeing it come to a head. If they are truly thinking that this is what brings back the Messiah, then everything from those days to today was for that reason.
Yeah. And that's, again, why my middle ground solution to what you're saying about like commune versus I'm saying we can fix it. Friends and family, join the Texas secessionist movement, please. We can govern our own.
But Greg Abbott is a huge Israel boy.
And Abbott's not part of this. All right. Abbott's not a part of this. All right. We're talking about a new country. All right.
But then who? Because I think...
Actually, an old country.
I think it's only a matter of time before the entire country goes blue. I've been saying this for a while. I think the plan has always been that. And people will say, oh, well, this or that, right?
Red's not red anymore, though. That's also part of the problem.
But I think that's all part of it. Yeah. Duh. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
You know why?
Yeah, of course they did.
You know why?
Because
then it just all leads us to the same path. It didn't fucking matter.
So we're all saying, I'm a centrist, I'm not red, I'm not blue, but that's just partyless, and that means blue is going to win. That's because it's.
We saw it we just saw it just now.
Yeah, with Tallarico. Yeah.
We just saw it.
I like Tallarico, actually.
I thought I did. And then he said some things that like old tweets were coming up, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know. I think that's part of the targeted opposition for him getting the nomination.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
I mean, but then I was like, it was funny because I was like, oh yeah. I was just happy that Jasmine Crockett lost. And then and then Tallarico won. And then I saw some of his old tweets and I was like, fuck, dude, is it too late to get Jasmine back?
See, and that's what they were trying to do. That's what they were trying to do, is get you to have that reaction. And I like Tallarico because I think he represents Christianity more faithfully to what I think Christianity should be.
I think he had a lot of good points.
Yeah.
I enjoyed his episode on Joe Rogan. I thought he was very well spoken.
Yes. And I don't think he's and as he said on Rogan, he's not trying to take our guns away, even if he is a Democrat kind of a thing. He is pro red flag laws, which I don't love.
I don't know what that means.
Red flag laws, which are like basically they do a more thorough background check on you to get a gun. They do potentially psych evals and things like that. And I don't love that because I think owning a weapon is an American right, not an American privilege. But I also see the benefit of it, considering the climate of things with gun violence.
In theory. But it's always...
I think it's a slippery slope towards them saying you can't buy military-style guns, which have they done in other states, and you can't buy an AR.
And people hate when you say slippery slope. But at the end of the day...
That one's a real one.
Well, at the end of the day, everything has genuinely been a slippery slope because once you've given into something else, they've made it then where you eventually give into something else. Like that is just that...
Watch your footing, folks. It's all slippery slopes.
That's just how it is. Like that's just how it's been worked. We've just been herded, and then you gave into this first,
like fucking lemmings.
You gave into this first, and then you gave into this, and you're like, oh, well, okay, that's not that bad. And then you're like, oh, okay, this is not that bad. And then you're like, whoa, wait a minute, how did we get here?
But it's still going forward.
But it's still going no matter what. Yeah. And it's like a lot of it is based on moral. It's always rooted in some kind of moral righteousness. You're only a good person if you believe this. There is no room for questioning or debating.
Moral superiority.
Right? And so we saw this the whole time during COVID. We saw this in like the canceling thing. And we've just seen this time and time again.
Well, the idea of empirical morality, right? And the problem is it's not empirical at all. It shifts every 5 years, right?
Yeah, the goalpost just moves.
Yeah. And like you're talking about with COVID, empirical morality was getting the shot, was protecting your neighbors. It may not be you, but it's the granny
And then
next
it was a
door.
booster.
Yeah.
And then it was another booster.
And then all of a sudden you're going, wait.
And then now it's every year like the flu shot. And you're like, hold on, what the fuck? Hold on. That's not what you said.
The goalpost moves, and
Every
empirical, that's my problem, I think, with religious motivation in politics, is they always claim empirical morality. They always claim to be the absolute truth in what is right and wrong. And that's where I say, wait. We're getting rid of debate on this?
But then the goalpost doesn't move.
We're getting rid of your ability to logically defend that position against somebody that's qualified to scrutinize it?
But then maybe the goalpost stops moving. Because
if we take a religious stance?
Potentially, right? Yeah. If the goalpost is forever allowed to move, why would it ever stop? This has clearly been very profitable. This has been
I just have this dream of debate that finds the stopping point. You know, I have this dream of logical men and women in a room that lock themselves in until we come to a decision on this.
I think this goes back to too many people are sheep, and you give too many people too much credit.
The problem with populism, right, is if you give everybody, including like if every vote is a single issue vote, we're gonna have some stupid laws because there are stupid people out there, kind of a thing.
Well, I mean, it's not even just stupid people. It is people who just don't have the time. They've been so bogged down,
and they don't do the research,
and it's on purpose.
Yeah,
and they haven't dug into things. Again, it goes back to there's still people who are sitting here going, "I'm on the left and I'm on the right." There's still people right now. Man. It's so silly. And that until that ends, we can't fix anything because there's going to be people who are blue no matter who, and there's going to be people who are red no matter what. And they're both equal. They're both doing the exact same thing because they're playing into it, and it still has led us. It has never mattered. Yeah. It will always lead us to the same end goal, and that end goal is one world government. It's the same reason why Bill Gates is still getting vaccination deals. He just got one with the EU, 500 million kids by 2030.
He's doing in vaccinations. What the fuck, man?
Well, he's in.
The one world government. The globalist agenda is actually a problem. 100%. To sound just like Rush Limbaugh when I was growing up, right? Is the globalist agenda.
It's 100% a thing.
But it's real.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's real. It's real.
So how do we, and the question, and my thing is like, if I can give a call to action is if you're wondering how do we resist this thing and you're feeling hopeless and you're feeling like it's too far gone and like it can't come back, do something. It's you, it's me, it's us forming coalition. It's us finding our friend that's the best qualified to do it and forcing them to run, even if they don't, especially if they don't want to, because that's the best kind. Shot. And then when they get shot, I replace them. And then when I get shot, you replace me. And then when I think if we don't do it, it doesn't change. And
I agree.
And like if we sit there and we think we're spectators in the political sphere, we will stay spectators in the political sphere. And if we decide that we're the main characters, it's our republic, it's our state, it's our neighborhood, it's our side of Austin, it's our district, whatever it is, and it's ours to do something about, that's the only time stuff changes, is when our generation of millennials decide, okay, we're the adults in the room now. Everybody else, step out or step up.
Yeah. It's 8 weeks ago I would have been like, yeah.
I'm just saying, let's be the adults in the room.
I don't know if it's possible.
It better be, or I'm screwing my kids.
Like, think about, and so I know. Yeah, it's dark.
That's dark. And that's, for me, that's why it's so serious.
No, I agree.
It's because it's one thing to say I could isolate myself with my friends. Yeah, I could do a commune.
And you can homeschool your kids.
Right. I'm screwing my grandkids.
Why?
What if they don't have access to the same thing? What if they, while we unplug ourselves from the government and we unplug ourselves from society in the direction that society takes, right? Which you're not doing that. You're running this podcast.
But right? I think you could argue that unplugging that extent is actually what would help fix a lot of things. Because if everyone,
Not for everybody.
If most people unplugged, in the sense of like,
Most people don't have the resources, man.
But I'm saying if they stopped giving it, I don't know about most people, dude. There's so much money in the U.S., man. There is more millionaires in this country than there is in any other place. There's more small business owners than there is in any other country. Like, there is a lot of money here.
There's a lot of people self-serving, though. Is my kind of thing.
There's a lot of people who misuse their own money. There's a lot of people who make way more money than me and have way less money.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, how? How do you make all of this money?
Yeah.
And you have nothing to show for it except for consumerism things.
Some people like stuff, okay, Jordan?
But you're
maybe.
But you then are part of the problem.
Yeah. No,
because now you are reliant on the system. It doesn't. Being reliant on the system, people think like, oh, well, I'm not on welfare.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're paying interest rates.
Yeah.
You're paying the loans. You're doing all these things. You are reliant on the system.
Yeah.
You are just as much of a slave as anyone else that is accepting government assistance in a different way, because you're doing the exact same thing.
Dead slavery.
And if you're not being responsible with your money, personal excellence starts with personal excellence. It's what Andy Frisella always says. It starts with personal excellence. He's 100% spot on. You should be the best version of yourself. You should be doing smart things with your money. You should be taking care of your health. And if everybody does that, then then their agenda doesn't work because we're not reliant on them. And that goes back to where it's like, how do we fix this? Well, we go back to a government that was pre-FDR, that was so small that this wasn't possible. Corruption wasn't a thing because they couldn't. Yeah. Because the system that was written didn't allow it.
Because it's a smaller government. It's 2 levels of separation closer to me. 2 degrees of separation, right? Like you're 5 degrees of separation from Obama or whatever. Like, you know, somebody who's met. And hypothetically, like, point being, we can lower the degrees of separation between us and those that make laws on our behalf and are potentially taking money to do it, right? So they could live in my neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
I could go knock on their door if I think they're doing the wrong thing, right? That's better.
Yeah.
But we have to do something. And we cannot just write it off as a shit show and secede into our small communities where we got it figured out for ours. I've got it for me and mine. We're good, right? Me and my brothers, we're all good, right? We have all figured this out in such a way where we can grow our food. We have this business model that keeps the income flowing from the outside world into our commune, whatever, right? We can figure all that out. But it doesn't serve to change the trajectory of what world we leave our grandkids in. It may change how we leave our kids, but it doesn't change our grandkids, who we have way less say over.
You're not wrong. However, worrying about the rest of the people, and this is a very man characteristic. We want to fix things, right? Mm-hmm. And so I've spent so much energy my entire life trying to make someone else want to work out, make someone else care about their body, make someone else want to take care of themselves, make someone else want to be financially responsible.
Yeah. Give them
and guess what?
Mindset. Yeah.
No matter what, no matter how many Andy Frisellas there are, no matter how many Alex Hermosis there are, no matter how many of these guys there are or girls there are, we're still in this fucking position.
Yeah.
And if we sit here and try to convince all these people, you can post everything you want. I feel like I post very neutrally down the line in the sense of like, I'm never attacking anyone for their beliefs. I'm just posting something and I'm providing information. And guess what? It still doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Because if people don't want to believe it or want to hear it or any of that, it's never going to change. It is reliant on themselves. Themselves have to change. So yes, you can preach all you want that we should be trying to help all of these people and doing all that so we can help.
Yeah.
But if themselves don't want to change, then it won't matter how right you are about this.
I agree.
And if it all leads us to the same end goal anyways, I've been preaching all this stuff for 10 plus years to the closest people around me all the time. One person may listen, 100 of them won't. And those are the people that we build a commune around.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them, when they decide that they want to catch up and they've had enough, then okay,
Yeah.
let's do it. Y'all ready now?
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
I gotta say, speaking of preaching, Jesus said, what you do to the least of us is what you do to me. And I gotta say, I think my life is called to take care of my family and take care of my descendants. And like I have a clearly biologically driven desire to see my bloodline preserved and successful and thriving, right? But I also kind of know in my heart that I think spiritually I'm called to serve the human race, not just me and mine.
Sure.
And I don't know, man.
I think that you wouldn't be.
Well, but here's
We
the
can
thing: is
still do the
our
podcast
system-
from the commune.
I know.
We can still have a YouTube channel. We can still better
can.
people.
And we can.
But guess what? Leave me the fuck alone.
I hear that.
These 15-minute cities.
I
these
just think
charging you for your mileage that you drive.
which is insane. It's all one world governmenty and thought
I don't want no
policing
part of
and-
it. I don't
Yeah.
want you poisoning my water. I don't want you spraying my food.
Bro,
I
I've
don't
had to
want
jump
you.
through hoops to unpoison my water
I
at
don't
our new place. Holy
want
cow.
you to do any of that. I don't want to
Yeah.
participate. And until everyone has decided that they no longer want to participate,
Yeah.
okay, then we can start having discussions. But at the moment, discussions are they're just met with walls.
I know. And that's why I think the thing to do is the thing that works. As much as we might hate the system, it is the thing that is in place. And I think it's naive to think you can change the system from inside. But if you were going to have a revolution in any way, it would have to at least somewhat mirror the system in place, even if we tore it down and rebuilt it.
A much smaller system.
Yes, agreed.
That's the thing.
Yeah, dude.
How the Constitution was written.
Yeah.
How the founding fathers had the foresight to realize that this was possible.
Yeah.
Because they had just left it.
Yeah.
It's almost like we should have kept it that way.
Yeah.
And that
it's almost like we're constitutionalists at this point. Funny how that works, right?
And that maybe we should have stuck to that because maybe that was what would work long term. And that maybe we shouldn't have been fucking with all that. Maybe we shouldn't have expanded the federal government so much that now overreach is so plausible and possible, and corruption and NGOs and government contractings and all these things is possible.
Yeah.
Thanks, FDR.
Yeah.
And maybe we should just revert it back to how it was supposed to be.
I like that. It would take so much work to tear it down. In the meantime,
What
I'd like to see some homies run for office, man.
My great grandma told me I should run for office when I was younger. But it just, why? That's the definition of insanity. The definition of
Same thing,
insanity is
expecting
repeating the
different
same
results.
thing and respecting a different result.
Are we the same
have been
thing
doing that.
as the boomers that are in office now? Are we the same?
I think eventually you will be. I think human nature is almost inevitably to end up that way. If
Then
put
we should
in
get
a
replaced.
position,
So let's get in and put in term limits. Yeah. Let's,
term limits.
Let's get ourselves elected. First thing we do
and
is put in term limits.
But we would need like 600 of us.
And then,
we
like,
would all have to get elected.
back that legislation that's trying to pass right now, which is no getting rich in Congress, right? Like that
good
kind
luck.
of stuff. I don't think it's likely, but it is possible. And it's only
Anything is
possible. It's only possible if people like us push. It's not likely at all if we just watch. If we watch the theater instead of forcing ourselves on stage as actors.
I think everyone gets God eventually, dude. I think most people, 99% of people have a number.
I got it.
I think everybody would like to think that they don't.
I'm not the homie. When I say I want to see a homie run, it's not me because I got a number.
And you already told me you're status driven. Yeah. So all of this is very.
I shouldn't do it at all. Yeah.
So it's like
I'm not.
But
cut
that's
for
human.
politics.
That's human nature, dude. You want to be top dog. Top dog feels good. It's why in jiu-jitsu gyms you want to be the top dog. You want to be respected.
I like nice stuff. I want to be top dog. I want to be respected by my peers. It's very natural, right? You need somebody that is an anomaly in what motivates men typically.
It's almost like you need someone God-fearing.
Almost.
It's weird how that comes all the way back around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I I mean, look, man, I just can't believe that all of this dropped. This is my final thing. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I can't believe that all of this dropped. And then the next day, we just went back to work. Like it didn't matter. It was so odd. And I've now kind of accepted it more, which is almost...
That's worse.
Which is almost worse.
Yeah.
Because we're getting there. Less people are talking about it. Less people are caring. People are now on to the next thing. That's my whole ICE thing, dude. Everyone was bitching and moaning and talking and protesting, doing all this shit. And then the Iran war started, and guess what? No one cares no more about it. You don't hear about it no more. It's not in the news no more. Ain't nobody getting shot no more. No one's protesting no more. It's did they just stop? No, of course not. They didn't stop, just like they had never stopped. They've been doing this since the ICE has been around for a very long time. Nothing had changed. This is nothing new. The tactics weren't anything different, dude. Obama was running the same thing all the way back to Clinton. There's pictures with ICE agents holding guns at kids. Like, all of that shit was a distraction. And then the Epstein files came out, and then they quickly found a new distraction. And now no one is talking about ICE no more. There's less and less people talking about Epstein, because now the common thing that people say is like, oh, well, people have made this their personality now. Yeah.
The elites
this was
were
the fucking
kids.
Eating kids.
Cloning kids to eat the clones.
Bro.
Like...
And people
You're
will tell
upset that that's a big deal to me?
People will tell you to keep getting your bread up, keep getting your paper, and don't worry about that.
Don't worry about
that one.
Tunnel vision, baby.
It's been very weird. It's been very weird.
Hey, you're worried about Epstein, but your paper isn't up?
You need new friends.
Yeah.
So it's been a real weird 6 to 8 weeks, because because we're one distraction away.
Yeah.
We're one distraction away before we're like, all right, who's playing this weekend? We're one more distraction away, dog.
I have to believe the wheel turns, because we're already moving past it so fast.
There's nothing showing that it will. Because guess what?
I have to believe it will, and people like you and people like me will step up and force it.
In 2028, you'll have people on your Instagram telling you to go vote for either Gavin Newsom or JD Vance.
Fuck.
They're gonna do it,
dude.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna be all over your Instagram. They're gonna have forgot all about all of it. They're gonna forgot about all of it. You got Peter Thiel's boy, and then you got the California juggernaut, dude.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, you should be voting for one of these. And California just made it to where if you have sex with a minor above the age of 14 is judge's discretion on whether or not it is predatory. Yeah. And on that note, y'all.
Yeah. Get out and do something. Texas secession by 2028. Let's do it. All right. We can manage our own, folks. We can get out there. We can do something, as long as we only have to worry about Texas. Okay.
Or we create Brodeyville, get a big ass wall.
I have a summer home in Brodeyville.
About 1,000 acres. Some deer, some bison, some cow.
Yeah.
And we'll get you some lentils.
Yeah. Right, for sure, bro.
All right, y'all. Doses.
Thanks for having me on, bro. Appreciate you. Love you, man.
Appreciate you. I love you too, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. Doses, y'all. See you next week.